content creators and platform algorithms.
It seems like content creators are constantly complaining about platform algorithms.
Yeah, it's a constant battle to get their content seen.
The algorithms are always changing, so what worked yesterday might not work today.
It's frustrating for creators who put a lot of effort into their work.
And it feels like the platforms prioritize certain types of content over others.
It makes you wonder if there's a fairer way to distribute content.
Maybe decentralized platforms will offer a solution in the future.
Content creators and platform dependency.
I saw a video about how reliant content creators are on platforms like YouTube and TikTok.
It's a real issue, isn't it? They build their whole audience there, then the algorithm changes.
Precisely, or the platform could just disappear overnight, all that work gone.
Diversification seems key, but that takes time and effort. Building a website, email list, etc.
Yeah, it's a constant hustle. And even then, you're still vulnerable to platform policies.
It makes you wonder if there's a better model for creators to connect with their audience directly.
Definitely. Maybe decentralized platforms are the answer? Digital decluttering and minimalism.
I'm trying to do a digital declutter. My phone is overflowing with apps I never use.
I should probably do that too. It's amazing how much digital clutter we accumulate.
It's not just apps. It's old photos, files, and emails. It's overwhelming.
Have you heard of digital minimalism? The idea of intentionally using technology.
I have. It sounds appealing. Focusing on what's truly valuable and getting rid of the rest.
Exactly. It's about being more mindful of our tech habits and reducing distractions.
I think I'll give it a try. Maybe it will improve my focus and productivity. The demise of SMS. Messaging app dominance.
Remember when everyone used SMS to text?
Barely. It feels like ages ago. Now it's all about WhatsApp, Signal, or even just Instagram DMs.
Yeah, SMS feels so basic now. No read receipts, no group chats, no GIFs.
Exactly. Plus, SMS can get expensive, especially internationally. Messaging apps use data, which is often cheaper.
True. Do you think SMS will ever completely disappear?
Probably not entirely. It's still useful for emergency alerts and two-factor authentication.
Good point. But for everyday chatting, it's definitely on its way out.
The ethics of AI-powered social media management.
I've been reading about AI tools that can manage social media accounts.
Like automatically posting content and engaging with followers?
Exactly. It raises some ethical questions, though. Is it authentic?
That's a good point. If it's not transparent, it could be misleading.
And what about the potential for AI to spread misinformation or manipulate opinions?
It's a slippery slope. There needs to be clear guidelines and regulations.
Agreed. We need to ensure AI is used responsibly in social media.
The evolution of online avatars.
Remember when online avatars were just pixelated images?
Haha, yeah. Now you can create incredibly realistic 3D avatars.
It's interesting how our avatars reflect our online identity.
Definitely. Some people create idealized versions of themselves, while others go for something completely different.
With the metaverse becoming more popular, avatars are becoming even more important.
True. They're essentially our digital representatives in virtual worlds.
It will be interesting to see how avatars continue to evolve in the future.
The evolution of online reviews.
I'm so reliant on online reviews before trying a new restaurant or buying something.
Me too, but I'm also increasingly skeptical. It's hard to know what's genuine anymore.
Exactly. There are so many fake reviews, and even real ones can be biased.
True. I try to look for reviews that are detailed and specific, not just great or terrible.
Good strategy. I also check the reviewer's profile to see if they've written a lot of reviews.
I wish there was a better system. Maybe I could help filter out the unreliable ones.
That's an interesting idea. It's definitely a space that needs improvement. The impact of social media on news credibility.
Social media has definitely changed how we consume news, but is it for the better? That's a tough question. It's faster, but also easier for misinformation to spread. Exactly. It's hard to know what's credible and what's not. I try to stick to reputable news sources and fact-check information before sharing it. That's a good practice. But even reputable sources can have biases. True. It's important to be critical and consider different perspectives. It feels like we need better tools to identify and combat fake news on social media.
The re-emergence of forums. I've noticed online forums making a bit of a comeback lately.
Really? I thought those were a thing of the past.
Well, they're not as mainstream as social media, but they offer a different kind of interaction.
How so?
They tend to be more focused on specific topics and foster deeper discussions.
That makes sense. It's a good alternative to the fleeting nature of social media.
Exactly. Plus, you can often find really knowledgeable people in forums.
The rise of niche social media communities.
I've noticed a lot of smaller, niche social media communities popping up.
Yeah, people seem to be getting tired of the big platforms and their algorithms.
It's nice to find a space where you can connect with people who share your specific interests.
Exactly. It feels more authentic and less about chasing likes and followers.
Have you joined any niche communities lately?
I'm part of a group dedicated to vintage synthesizers. It's surprisingly active.
That sounds cool. I might have to look into finding some for my hobbies.
AI assistance. Help or hindrance?
I'm increasingly reliant on my AI assistant. It's both amazing and a little concerning. I know what you mean. They're so convenient, but I worry about becoming too dependent. Exactly. And what about privacy? Are they listening to everything we say? That's a valid concern. I try to limit the information I share with mine. Do you think they'll eventually replace human workers in many jobs? Potentially, in some areas. But I think humans will always be needed for creativity and critical thinking. I hope you're right. It's a rapidly changing landscape.
Digital detox and FOMO.
I'm thinking of doing a digital detox. I'm spending way too much time online.
That's a good idea. I've tried it, but I always get FOMO. What if I miss something important?
That's my worry too, but I think the benefits outweigh the fear. I need to reconnect with the real world.
So, no social media at all? Not even checking email?
I'm planning on limiting email to necessary work-related stuff. Social media is definitely off the table.
Wow, that's commitment. Maybe I'll start with just deleting the apps off my phone for a weekend.
That's a great starting point. Baby steps are better than no steps. Tech dependence in everyday life. I realized the other day how completely dependent I am on technology. It's a bit scary.
Tell me about it. I can't even remember phone numbers anymore.
Exactly. And I rely on GPS for everything, even walking a few blocks. What if the system goes down?
That's a good point. We've outsourced so much of our memory and navigation to our devices.
Do you think we should make a conscious effort to disconnect more often?
Definitely. Maybe try going for a walk without your phone or reading a physical book instead of an e-book.
That sounds like a good start. I'm going to try it this weekend.
Tech support nightmares. I spent 3 hours on the phone with tech support yesterday. It was a nightmare.
Oh, I feel your pain. I swear, sometimes they know less than I do.
Seriously. I kept getting transferred to different people who asked the same questions over and over.
Did they at least eventually fix the problem?
Nope. They told me to restart my router, again, and then hung up.
Unbelievable. You should complain. That's just unacceptable service.
I'm tempted, but honestly, I'm too exhausted. I'll just try to figure it out myself. The allure of retro tech.
I've been seeing a lot of people getting back into retro tech lately, like vinyl records and film cameras.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. I think it's a reaction against everything being so digital and disposable.
There's something satisfying about the tactile experience, isn't there? Holding a physical record or developing your own photos.
Definitely. And maybe a bit of nostalgia for simpler times.
I'm tempted to buy a vintage Polaroid camera. They're so cool.
Go for it. It's a fun hobby. Just be prepared to spend a fortune on film.
Good point. Maybe I'll start with a cheaper option.
The ethics of deepfakes.
Have you seen those deepfake videos online? They're getting incredibly realistic.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But also a little scary, right?
Definitely scary. The potential for misuse is huge. Think about political manipulation or defamation.
Exactly. And how do you even prove something isn't real when it looks so convincing?
That's the problem. There needs to be some kind of regulation. But how do you balance that with freedom of speech?
It's a tough one. Maybe watermarking deepfakes or developing AI to detect them?
Those are good ideas. We need to stay ahead of the curve before things get completely out of hand. The evolution of photography.
It's amazing how much photography has changed, from film to digital to phone cameras.
I know. Everyone's a photographer now, in a way.
True, but has it made photography less special? Is it harder to stand out?
Maybe. But it's also made it more accessible. More people can express themselves visually.
That's a good point. And the technology is constantly improving. The quality of phone cameras is incredible.
Yeah, but I still think there's something to be said for the artistry and skill of professional photographers.
Definitely. Knowing how to use light and composition is still crucial, no matter what camera you're using.
The future of social media interaction.
Do you think social media interaction will ever move beyond likes and comments?
I hope so. It feels pretty shallow sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's also performative. I'd love to see more meaningful connections.
Maybe more focus on smaller, private groups, or more in-depth discussions.
That would be great. Something that encourages genuine engagement, rather than just passive scrolling.
Perhaps even integrated virtual reality experiences for more immersive interactions.
Whoa, that's a thought. It could be cool, but also potentially isolating.
The impact of social media on activism.
Social media has really changed the landscape of activism, hasn't it?
Absolutely. It's made it so much easier to organize and raise awareness.
But is it all positive? I worry about slacktivism, people just sharing things online without actually doing anything.
That's a valid concern, but I think it can also be a gateway to more meaningful engagement.
True, and it allows marginalized voices to be heard in a way that wasn't possible before.
Plus, it can put pressure on corporations and governments to be more accountable.
It's a powerful tool, for sure. We just need to use it responsibly.
The right to be forgotten.
Have you ever thought about the right to be forgotten online? It's a tricky concept. Definitely. I mean, things I posted years ago are still out there. It's a bit scary. Exactly. And what if something untrue is posted about you? Should you have the right to have it removed? I think so, especially if it's demonstrably false and damaging. But who decides what's, quotes, damaging? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It could easily be abused. Yeah, people could try to erase their past mistakes. There needs to be a balance between privacy and accountability. Agreed. It's a complex issue with no easy answers.
Augmented reality applications beyond gaming.
I keep hearing about AR, but all I see are games. Are there any practical uses?
Definitely. Think about using AR to virtually try on clothes before buying them online.
Oh, that's actually useful. Anything else?
Architects are using it to visualize building designs in real-world environments.
Wow, that's a game changer for presentations, I imagine.
Exactly. And mechanics are using AR overlays to diagnose engine problems.
Okay, I'm convinced. AR is more than just Pokemon Go.
The digital divide, access and affordability.
It's crazy how much we rely on the internet. What about people who can't afford it?
That's the digital divide, and it's a serious problem. Lack of access limits opportunities.
It affects education, job prospects, everything really.
Exactly. Affordable internet access should be considered a basic right.
But how do you make that happen?
Government subsidies, community programs, initiatives to lower the cost of devices.
It's a complex issue, but definitely worth addressing.
Absolutely. Bridging the digital divide is crucial for a more equitable society.
The ethics of automated content moderation. I saw someone get banned from a platform for something that seemed harmless. Is automated moderation going too far?
It's a tricky balance. Automated systems are needed to handle the sheer volume of content.
But aren't they often inaccurate?
Yes, and that's the problem. False positives are common.
So what's the solution?
Ideally, a combination of AI and human oversight. AI to flag potentially problematic content, and humans to make the final decision.
That makes sense. Human judgment is still crucial.
Precisely. Context is everything, and AI often misses it.
The future of digital marketing.
What do you think is the next big thing in digital marketing?
I think it's all about personalization and creating authentic connections.
So, moving away from generic ads.
Definitely. People are tired of being bombarded with irrelevant ads. They want experiences tailored to their needs.
How do you achieve that?
Data analytics, AI, understanding customer behavior. It's a combination of things.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It is, but it's the only way to stand out in a crowded marketplace.
The future of online learning.
Do you think online learning will eventually replace traditional classrooms? I don't think it will completely replace them, but it will definitely become more prevalent. What are the advantages? Flexibility, accessibility, and personalized learning experiences. But what about the social aspect of learning? That's the challenge. Finding ways to foster collaboration and community online. Maybe hybrid models are the way to go. That's a strong possibility. Blending the best of both worlds.
A future of voice assistants.
Do you think voice assistants will ever become truly indispensable?
I think they're already pretty useful, but there's definitely room for improvement.
Like what? What are they missing?
Better understanding of context and nuance, more natural conversation.
True, it still feels very transactional.
Exactly. Imagine an assistant that anticipates your needs before you even ask.
That sounds a bit scary, actually.
It could be, but also incredibly convenient.
The impact of social media on political polarization.
Do you think social media is making political divides worse?
I think it definitely contributes. Echo chambers amplify existing biases.
Yeah, you only see opinions that confirm your own beliefs.
Exactly. And algorithms prioritize engagement, which often means sensational or controversial content.
So, how do you break out of that cycle?
Actively seeking out diverse perspectives, fact-checking information, and being mindful of your own biases.
Easier said than done, unfortunately.
True, but it's a necessary step towards more constructive dialogue.
The impact of technology on creativity.
Do you think technology helps or hinders creativity?
I think it's a double-edged sword. It provides amazing tools, but also distractions.
Yeah, endless scrolling can kill inspiration.
Exactly. But then you have digital art programs, music software. The possibilities are endless.
True, it democratizes creativity. Anyone can create something now.
That's the beauty of it. It's all about finding the right balance.
So, use technology wisely, not let it use you.
Precisely.
The longevity of current social media trends.
Do you think TikTok will still be relevant in 5 years? That's hard to say. Social media trends are so fleeting. Remember MySpace? Where did that go? Exactly. It was huge and then vanished. It's all about adapting to new formats and user preferences. So what's the key to survival? Innovation and staying ahead of the curve. And a bit of luck, probably. True, it seems like a constant arms race for attention.
The role of technology in environmental sustainability.
Can technology actually help solve climate change?
Absolutely. Think about renewable energy technologies, smart grids, and precision agriculture.
True, but tech also consumes a lot of energy.
That's a valid point. But we can develop more energy-efficient devices and data centers.
What about recycling e-waste?
That's crucial. Developing better recycling processes and designing products for longevity are key.
So, technology can be both the problem and the solution.
Exactly. It's all about how we use it.
The appeal of nostalgic tech. I saw someone using a flip phone the other day. It made me strangely nostalgic.
Me too. There's something appealing about the simplicity of older tech.
No constant notifications, no endless scrolling, just a phone that makes calls.
Exactly. Plus, those things were practically indestructible. Remember the Nokia?
Oh yeah, the brick! You could drop it from a building and it would still work.
It's like a rebellion against our hyper-connected lives.
Maybe I should ditch my smartphone and go back to a simpler time. The demise of forums. Remember old school internet forums? They seem to have disappeared.
They've largely been replaced by subreddits and Discord servers, I think.
It's not quite the same though, is it? Forums felt more permanent.
True. There was a different sense of community. Maybe because they were harder to find?
Perhaps. And the moderation was usually stricter, for better or worse.
Good point. Now it's all about algorithmic feeds and fleeting interactions.
I do miss the dedicated threads and carefully curated information.
The echo chamber effect.
I've noticed I mostly see opinions I agree with online. It's a bit unsettling.
Yeah, that's the echo chamber effect. Algorithms prioritize content based on your past interactions.
So I'm just reinforcing my own biases?
Pretty much. It can be hard to break out of it and see different perspectives.
Is there anything you can do about it?
Actively seek out sources with different viewpoints. Follow people you disagree with, even.
That sounds challenging, but probably necessary.
It is, but it's the best way to get a more balanced view of things.
The ethics of social scoring. I read an article about social scoring systems. It's kind of terrifying.
You mean like how your online behavior can affect your credit score or job opportunities?
Exactly. It feels like we're being constantly judged and evaluated.
It raises serious privacy concerns. Who gets to decide what's good or bad behavior?
And what if the algorithms are biased or make mistakes?
Then you're penalized for something you didn't even do, or for expressing a perfectly valid opinion.
It's a slippery slope towards a dystopian future, isn't it?
The evolution of memes.
Memes have become a legitimate form of communication, haven't they? Absolutely. They're a shared language, a way to express complex ideas quickly. But they evolve so fast. What's popular one week is dead the next. That's part of the fun. The constant reinvention keeps things fresh. I still don't understand some of the more obscure ones, though. Don't worry, nobody does. That's half the appeal. It's an inside joke for the internet. So embracing the absurdity is key. Exactly. Just go with the flow and enjoy the ride.
The impact of tech on news credibility.
It's getting harder to trust anything I read online. So much fake news.
Totally. Technology has made it incredibly easy to spread misinformation.
And algorithms often prioritize sensational headlines over factual reporting.
It's a real problem. How do you even know what's true anymore?
I try to check multiple sources and look for evidence-based reporting.
That's a good strategy. Critical thinking is essential in the digital age.
It's exhausting, though. I wish there was an easier way to filter out the garbage. The metaverse's lingering questions. Do you think the metaverse will ever truly take off?
I'm still skeptical. It feels clunky and isolating, even with the fancy headsets.
The potential is there, but the execution feels lacking. What's the killer app?
That's the million-dollar question. And who controls it? That's another big concern.
Yeah, centralization versus decentralization is a huge issue.
Plus, the cost of entry is still pretty high. Not everyone can afford the gear.
So for now, it's just a niche interest for early adopters?
Seems that way. It needs to be more accessible and offer compelling experiences.
The problem of digital hoarding.
My phone is constantly running out of storage. I have so many photos and files I don't need.
Sounds like you're a digital hoarder. It's a real thing.
Is it? I just feel guilty about deleting things, even if I haven't looked at them in years.
I get it. It's like getting rid of memories, but it can be overwhelming.
Any tips for decluttering my digital life?
Start small. Delete duplicates, back up important files to the cloud, and be ruthless with old screenshots.
Ruthless. I like that word. I'll try to be more ruthless.
The proliferation of bots.
I'm starting to suspect half the accounts I interact with online are bots.
It's probably not that far off. They're everywhere, spreading misinformation and inflating numbers.
How can you even tell the difference anymore?
Look for repetitive behavior, generic profile pictures, and weirdly enthusiastic comments.
So basically, everything that makes social media annoying.
Exactly. It's getting harder and harder to distinguish real people from sophisticated bots.
It makes you wonder what's even real anymore.
The rise of de-influencing.
Have you heard about de-influencing on social media?
Yeah, it's the opposite of traditional influencing, right? Telling people not to buy things.
Exactly. It's a reaction to all the overconsumption and sponsored content.
I kind of like it. It's a more honest and realistic approach to product reviews.
It feels more authentic, definitely. Less pressure to keep up with trends.
Do you think it will actually make a difference in consumer habits?
Hopefully. Maybe people will start thinking more critically about what they're buying.
Content creators and platform algorithms.
Being a content creator is all about understanding the platform's algorithm, isn't it?
Totally. It's like trying to crack a code that's constantly changing.
You can create amazing content, but if the algorithm doesn't favor it, nobody will see it.
Exactly. It's frustrating to feel like you're at the mercy of a machine.
I've heard some creators say they tailor their content specifically to the algorithm, which feels a bit inauthentic.
Yeah, it's a tough balance between creating what you love and what will get views.
It's a constant game of cat and mouse.
Content creators and platform dependency.
It's tough being a content creator these days. You're completely at the mercy of the platforms.
Tell me about it. One algorithm change and your views plummet.
Exactly. Diversifying seems crucial, but building an audience on multiple platforms takes so much time.
Yeah, it's a constant balancing act. You need to play the game, but also protect yourself from being completely reliant on one source.
I've been thinking about building my own website, but the discoverability is the hard part.
That's the challenge, isn't it? Driving traffic without relying on social media.
It feels like you're constantly chasing the algorithm.
Completely agree. It's exhausting. Digital decluttering and minimalism.
I'm trying to do a digital declutter, My phone is overflowing with apps I never use.
I should probably do that too. It's amazing how much digital clutter we accumulate.
It's overwhelming. I'm starting with unsubscribing from email lists I don't read.
That's a good start. I need to organize my photos. I have thousands scattered everywhere.
I'm also trying to be more mindful of my social media usage. It's such a time suck.
Me too. I'm trying to limit my screen time, but it's so addictive.
It's a constant battle, but I think it's worth it for mental clarity.
Definitely. Less digital clutter, more mental space.
The demise of SMS messaging app dominance.
I barely use SMS anymore. It's all WhatsApp and Telegram these days.
Same here. SMS feels so outdated. No group chats, no emojis. It's like going back to the Stone Age.
Exactly. And the cost. I can send endless messages and photos for free over Wi-Fi.
True, although SMS is still useful when you don't have internet access.
That's a good point. It's a reliable backup, I guess. But for everyday communication, messaging apps win.
Definitely. I think SMS will eventually become obsolete for personal use.
I agree, it's already headed that way. It's mostly just used for verification codes now.
The ethics of AI-powered social media management.
Have you seen how many companies are using AI to manage their social media now?
Yeah, I've heard about it. It's supposed to automate posting and even respond to comments.
But isn't there something a bit unsettling about that? Like, is it really authentic engagement?
That's what I'm wondering. If it's just a bot responding, it feels disingenuous.
And what about when AI starts creating content? Where's the line between genuine creativity and automated marketing?
It's a slippery slope. I think transparency is key. If a company is using AI, they should be upfront about it.
Agreed. Otherwise, it feels like we're being manipulated. The evolution of online avatars. It's funny how online avatars have changed over the years. Remember those pixelated ones?
Oh yeah, and the early days of forums where everyone just used a random image they found online.
Now you can create incredibly realistic 3D avatars. It's almost like having a digital twin.
It's pretty wild. Especially with the metaverse becoming more popular, avatars are becoming even more important.
I wonder if we'll eventually reach a point where we can't tell the difference between a real person and an AI-generated avatar.
That's a bit scary to think about. It could make it even harder to trust people online.
True. The future of online identity is definitely going to be interesting. The evolution of online reviews.
Online reviews used to be so helpful, but now it's hard to know what's real.
Yeah, there are so many fake reviews, it's hard to trust them anymore.
I try to look for verified purchase reviews, but even those can be manipulated.
True. I also look at the negative reviews to see if there are any consistent problems mentioned.
That's a good strategy. I also check multiple review sites to get a broader perspective.
It's a lot of work just to figure out if a product is decent.
I know. It's almost easier to just take a chance and see for myself.
Sometimes I think that's the only way to be sure.
The impact of social media on news credibility. It's so hard to know what news is real anymore, especially on social media.
I know, right? Misinformation spreads so quickly.
I try to check multiple sources, but even then, it's difficult to be sure.
Yeah, and people are so quick to share things without verifying them first.
I think social media companies need to do more to combat the spread of fake news.
Definitely. But it's also up to us to be more critical consumers of information.
It's a constant challenge to stay informed and avoid being misled. The re-emergence of forums.
I've noticed forums are making a comeback. I thought they were dead. Me too. But I think people are craving more in-depth discussions than social media allows. That makes sense. On social media, everything is so fleeting and superficial. Exactly. Forums offer a place for longer, more thoughtful conversations around specific topics. I also think people are looking for communities that aren't driven by algorithms. Yeah, the algorithm can really limit what you see. Forums offer a more organic experience. It's like going back to the roots of the internet in some ways.
The rise of niche social media communities.
I'm finding I'm spending more time on smaller, niche social media platforms these days.
Really? Like what?
Well, I joined a forum dedicated to vintage synthesizers, and it's amazing. Everyone is so passionate and helpful.
That sounds cool. I guess the big platforms can feel a bit overwhelming and impersonal sometimes.
Exactly. It's nice to connect with people who share your specific interests without all the noise.
I can see the appeal. I'm part of a Discord server for indie game developers, and it's been a great resource.
It's like finding your tribe online.
Yeah, and it's a welcome change from the negativities sometimes found on mainstream platforms.
Digital accessibility and inclusivity.
I've been thinking about digital accessibility lately. How inclusive is the internet, really?
That's a great question. While the internet offers incredible opportunities, it's not equally accessible to everyone.
Things like website design, font choices, and video captioning can make a huge difference for people with disabilities.
Exactly. And it's not just about disabilities. Consider language barriers, internet access in rural areas, and affordability.
It feels like a moral imperative for tech companies and content creators to prioritize accessibility.
Definitely. But it also makes good business sense. A more accessible internet benefits everyone.
What are some practical steps we can take to improve digital inclusivity?
Learning about accessibility guidelines, using alt text for images, providing captions for videos, and advocating for inclusive design practices are all good starting points.
The algorithmic echo chamber effect.
I'm worried about the echo chamber effect created by algorithms. It feels like we're only seeing what we already agree with.
It's a real problem. Algorithms are designed to show us content we'll engage with, which often reinforces our existing beliefs.
So we become less exposed to diverse perspectives and more entrenched in our own viewpoints.
Exactly. And that can lead to increased polarization and intolerance.
Is there a way to break free from these algorithmic bubbles?
Actively seeking out diverse sources of information, following people with different viewpoints, and being mindful of our own biases are all important.
It takes conscious effort to challenge our own assumptions and step outside our comfort zones.
Definitely. But it's crucial for fostering understanding and empathy in an increasingly divided world.
The attention economy and content creation.
I'm starting to feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume of content online. It's all about grabbing attention, isn't it?
Definitely. We're in the attention economy now. Everyone's fighting for eyeballs and clicks.
And it feels like quality has suffered. Clickbait headlines and sensationalism seem to rule.
It's a race to the bottom. The algorithms reward what's engaging, even if it's not particularly insightful or accurate.
So how do you break through the noise and create something meaningful?
That's the million-dollar question. Authenticity helps, but it's also about understanding the platforms and playing the game to some extent.
It's a difficult balance, isn't it? Staying true to yourself while also trying to be seen.
Exactly. And knowing when to step away and disconnect from the constant pressure to create.
The balancing act. Convenience versus privacy. I love the convenience of technology, but I'm increasingly concerned about my privacy. It's a constant balancing act.
I feel the same way. We trade our data for personalized experiences and seamless services, but at what cost?
It's hard to know exactly how our data is being used and who has access to it.
The privacy policies are often so complex and lengthy that no one actually reads them.
Are there steps we can take to protect our privacy without completely disconnecting from technology?
Using privacy-focused browsers and search engines, limiting data tracking in app settings, and being cautious about what we share online are all helpful.
It's a constant effort to stay informed and adjust our settings.
Definitely. But it's worth it to regain some control over our digital footprint.
The evolution of online identities.
It's interesting how online identities have changed. Remember when everyone was anonymous?
Totally. Avatars and weird usernames were the norm. Now it's all about being, quote, being authentic, or at least appearing to be.
Yeah, the pressure to present a perfect version of yourself is intense. Do you think people are actually more genuine online now?
I doubt it. It's still a curated version. Maybe more transparent, but still curated. It's performative authenticity.
True. And the lines between personal and professional are so blurred now. What you post can affect your job.
Absolutely. It's a constant balancing act. You have to be aware of your brand, even if you don't consider yourself a brand.
It's exhausting. I sometimes miss the days of complete anonymity, honestly.
Me too. There was a certain freedom in it, but I guess that comes with its own set of problems. The future of digital communities.
Where do you see digital communities heading in the future? Are Facebook groups still relevant?
I think we're seeing a shift towards smaller, more niche communities. People are looking for genuine connection, not just mass gatherings.
Yeah, I've noticed more people joining Discord servers and smaller online forums.
Exactly. It's about finding your tribe, people who share your specific interests. The big platforms are becoming too noisy.
Do you think these smaller communities are more resilient to misinformation?
Potentially, because they're often self-moderated and have stricter rules, but echo chambers can still form.
That's true. It's all about finding the right balance between inclusivity and maintaining a healthy community.
And having strong moderators who are willing to address issues proactively.
The impact of social media on body image.
I worry about the impact social media has on people's body image, especially young people.
It's a huge issue. Constant exposure to filtered and edited images creates unrealistic expectations.
And the algorithms often amplify these images, feeding into the cycle.
Right. It's a carefully curated highlight reel, not real life. But it's hard to remember that sometimes.
Do you think platforms are doing enough to address this problem?
Some are taking small steps, like labeling edited images, but it's not nearly enough. There needs to be a fundamental shift in how we value ourselves online.
It's a societal problem, really. Social media just amplifies existing pressures.
Definitely. We need to teach media literacy and critical thinking skills from a young age.
The impact of technology on news credibility.
It's getting harder and harder to know what's true online. Technology has made it so easy to spread misinformation.
Absolutely. Deepfakes, manipulated images, and fake news websites are all contributing to the erosion of trust in traditional media.
And social media algorithms can amplify these false narratives, making them go viral before they can be debunked.
It's a constant battle. Fact checkers are working hard, but they're always playing catch up.
What can we do as individuals to be more discerning consumers of news?
Cross-referencing information from multiple reputable sources, being skeptical of sensational headlines, and learning about media bias are all essential skills.
It's also important to be aware of our own cognitive biases and how they might influence our interpretation of information.
Exactly. Critical thinking and media literacy are more important than ever in the digital age.
The loneliness paradox of social media.
It's strange how social media is supposed to connect us, but it can also make us feel incredibly lonely.
It's the loneliness paradox. We're constantly bombarded with images of other people's seemingly perfect lives, which can trigger feelings of inadequacy and isolation.
And the interactions are often superficial and lack genuine connection.
Exactly. Liking a post or leaving a quick comment doesn't replace meaningful face-to-face interactions.
So how do we use social media in a way that fosters connection without contributing to feelings of loneliness?
Being mindful of our usage, prioritizing real-life relationships, and focusing on creating genuine connections online are all important.
It's also crucial to remember that what we see online is often a curated version of reality.
Definitely. Comparing ourselves to others is a recipe for unhappiness. Focusing on our own lives and cultivating genuine connections is key.
The rise of the creator economy. The creator economy is booming, isn't it? Everyone's trying to be an influencer or content creator.
It's definitely a viable career path for some, but it's also incredibly competitive.
And it requires so much more than just talent. You need to be a marketer, a photographer, a video editor.
Exactly. And constantly adapt to changing algorithms and platform trends. It's a lot of work.
Do you think it's sustainable in the long run, or will it eventually become oversaturated?
I think the landscape will evolve. We might see more creators focusing on specific niches or collaborating with brands in new ways.
It also raises questions about fair compensation and labor rights for creators.
Absolutely. There needs to be more regulation and support for creators to protect them from exploitation.
The appeal of anonymous online forums. I've been spending a lot of time on anonymous forums lately. It's kind of addictive.
Really? What's the appeal? I always thought they were cesspools of negativity.
Well, there's definitely some of that, but there's also a sense of freedom in being able to share your thoughts without judgment.
I guess I can see that. It must be liberating to express yourself without worrying about your reputation.
Exactly. And sometimes you can find really helpful advice or support from people who have similar experiences.
That's interesting. I might have to check one out sometime, just to see what it's like.
Just be careful. There are definitely some questionable corners of the internet to avoid.
The blurring lines between online and offline identity.
I saw a post online from someone I know, and it was totally different from how they act in real life.
Yeah, it's weird how people can have such different online personas. It's like they're playing a character.
It makes you wonder which is the real them, or are both versions real in different contexts?
That's a good question. I think our online and offline identities are becoming increasingly intertwined.
True. What we post online can definitely impact our real-life relationships and opportunities.
It's important to be mindful of the image we're projecting, even if it's just for fun.
Definitely. It's all part of building our personal brand, whether we realize it or not. The ethics of using AI to generate content.
I saw an article about how AI can now write entire articles. It's kind of scary, isn't it?
Yeah, it raises a lot of ethical questions. Who owns the copyright to AI-generated content? And how do we know it's accurate?
Exactly. And what about the impact on human writers? Will they be replaced by machines?
I think I will probably augment human writers rather than replace them entirely. It can be a useful tool for research and brainstorming.
That's a good point. But it's still important to be transparent about when AI is being used to create content.
Absolutely. We need to be able to distinguish between human-written and AI-generated content, especially when it comes to news and information.
It's a brave new world, and we need to figure out the ethical guidelines before things get out of control.
The ever-changing algorithm landscape. I swear, the Instagram algorithm changed again. I'm barely seeing posts from people I actually follow.
Tell me about it. It's so frustrating. I feel like I'm constantly fighting to get my content seen.
It's like they want us to pay to play. Organic reach is practically dead.
Exactly. And it's not just Instagram. All the platforms are constantly tweaking their algorithms to maximize engagement.
It makes it hard for small creators to get noticed. You have to be a social media guru just to stay afloat.
I think it's leading to more people feeling burned out and disillusioned with social media.
Maybe that's a good thing, in a way. It might force us to prioritize real-life connections over online validation.
The impact of filters and editing on self-perception.
I saw this article about how filters on social media are affecting people's self-esteem.
Yeah, I can see that. It's hard to feel good about yourself when you're constantly comparing yourself to heavily edited images.
Exactly. It's creating unrealistic beauty standards. I even use them sometimes. I admit it.
Me too. It's tempting to smooth out imperfections, but then you start to feel like your real face isn't good enough.
It's a vicious cycle. We need to be more aware of the impact these filters have.
Maybe we should start posting more unfiltered photos to normalize realness.
That's a great idea. It's time to embrace our imperfections.
The pressure to document everything.
Did you see Sarah's story? She's at that new restaurant and the food looks amazing.
Yeah. It's like everyone has to document every single experience. I wonder if they're even enjoying it.
That's what I'm thinking. Are they eating the food or just taking pictures of it?
I feel like sometimes people are more focused on the quote Y-gram than the actual experience. It's kind of sad.
I agree. I try to be mindful and put my phone away sometimes, but it's hard not to get caught up in it.
It's definitely a conscious effort. Remember when we just lived asterisks in the moment, without needing to share it with the world?
Those were the days. Maybe we should have a no-phones night out sometime.
I'm in. Let's actually experience something without a filter.
The problem of echo chambers and filter bubbles.
I'm worried about how social media is creating echo chambers. I only see opinions that confirm my own biases.
Yeah, it's a real problem. Algorithms are designed to show us what we already agree with, reinforcing our existing beliefs.
It makes it hard to have constructive conversations with people who have different viewpoints. We're all just talking to ourselves.
Exactly. And it can lead to increased polarization and division in society.
So what can we do about it? It's hard to break out of those filter bubbles.
I think we need to actively seek out diverse perspectives, follow people with different opinions, read news from different sources.
That's a good point. It's uncomfortable sometimes, but it's important to challenge our own assumptions.
The rise of niche social media platforms.
Have you noticed how many new social media platforms are popping up, all catering to specific interests?
Yeah, it's like everyone's trying to find their own little corner of the internet. No one wants to be on the same platform as their parents anymore.
It makes sense, though. It's nice to connect with people who share your passions, even if it's something really obscure.
True. I'm part of this online community for people who collect vintage board games. It's surprisingly active.
See? There's a niche for everything. Do you think these platforms will eventually replace the big ones?
I doubt it entirely, but they definitely offer a more focused and intimate experience than the mainstream platforms.
It's all about finding your tribe, I guess. Whether it's on Facebook or a tiny forum dedicated to antique thimbles. The role of technology in fostering or hindering creativity.
Do you think technology helps or hurts creativity?
That's a tough one. I think it can do both. On one hand, we have so many tools at our fingertips to create things.
True, like digital art programs or music production software. It's democratized creativity.
But on the other hand, it can be overwhelming. There's so much noise and content out there that it's hard to stand out.
And the constant distractions. It's hard to focus and get into a creative flow when your phone is buzzing every 5 minutes.
I think it's about finding a balance, using technology as a tool but not letting it control your creative process.
Yeah, being intentional with how we use it. Maybe setting aside specific times for creating and disconnecting from the digital world.
The shifting definition of friend online.
I have over 500 feet friends on Facebook, but I only actually talk to like 5 of them. It's weird, right?
Totally. Friend has become so diluted online. It's more like acquaintance, or a person I vaguely know.
Yeah, and I feel obligated to accept friend requests from people I barely remember meeting.
I get that. It's like a social expectation. But does it even mean anything anymore?
Honestly, I think it contributes to feeling disconnected. So many connections, but so little genuine interaction.
Maybe it's time to cull the herd, unfriend some people, and focus on the real connections.
That sounds a little ruthless, but you might be right. Quality over quantity, I guess. Content creators and algorithm dependency.
I feel bad for content creators. They're completely at the mercy of social media algorithms.
It's true. One algorithm change can decimate their reach and income overnight.
It's like they're constantly chasing the algorithm, trying to figure out what works.
And it's exhausting. They have to be constantly creating new content and engaging with their audience.
Do you think there's a way for them to break free from that dependency?
Diversifying their platforms is a good start. Building an email list and creating their own website can give them more control.
That makes sense. Relying solely on one platform is too risky.
Exactly. They need to own their audience, not just rent it.
The authenticity crisis on social media.
Do you ever feel like everyone on social media is just pretending to be someone they're not?
Definitely. It's like a highlight reel, not a real representation of life.
It makes you wonder what's genuine anymore. Even influencers seem to be losing credibility.
I think people are starting to crave more authenticity, which is why we're seeing a rise in, quote, anti-influencer types.
That's interesting. So a backlash against the curated perfection?
Yeah, people are tired of the fake. They want to see real struggles and real people.
Maybe there's hope for social media yet.
Perhaps, but the algorithms still reward engagement, and often that means sensationalism, not authenticity.
The death of the comment section.
Have you noticed how many websites are getting rid of their comment sections?
Yeah, I think it's because moderating them is a nightmare. It's just a breeding ground for trolls and negativity.
It's a shame, though. I used to enjoy reading the comments and seeing different perspectives.
I agree, but the signal-to-noise ratio got so bad. It's hard to have a constructive conversation when everyone's just shouting at each other.
So, are we losing a valuable forum for discussion?
Maybe, but people are finding other places to discuss things, like on social media or in dedicated forums.
True, but those platforms often have their own problems with echo chambers and misinformation.
It's a tough balance to strike, fostering open discussion while maintaining a civil environment.
The declining use of email. I've noticed I barely check my email anymore. It's all just spam and newsletters I never signed up for.
Same here. It feels so outdated compared to instant messaging and social media.
Do you think email will eventually become obsolete?
Probably not completely, but its primary use is definitely shifting. I think it will become more of a formal communication channel, like for legal documents or official business.
That makes sense. It's still necessary for some things, but for casual communication, it's just too slow.
Exactly. And with so many other options available, it's hard to justify sifting through a mountain of junk.
I wonder what the next evolution of communication will be.
The ethics of online reviews.
I rely heavily on online reviews before trying a new restaurant or buying something online. But are they always trustworthy?
That's the million-dollar question. There are definitely fake reviews out there, both positive and negative.
How can you tell the difference?
Look for patterns. Are all the reviews overly enthusiastic or overly negative? Are they vague or specific? And check the reviewer's profile. Do they have a history of reviewing multiple products or services?
Good point. I guess it's about being a critical consumer of reviews.
Exactly. And also remembering that reviews are just one person's opinion. Your experience might be different.
True. And sometimes it's better to just try something yourself and see what you think. The metaverse's potential for social connection. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the metaverse. Do you think it'll actually help people connect or just be another distraction?
That's a good question. I think it has the potential, especially for people who have difficulty connecting in real life. But it could also reinforce existing social inequalities.
How so?
Access to the technology, for one, and the potential for harassment and negativity that already exists online could be amplified in a more immersive environment.
True, that's a concern. So it really depends on how it's designed and moderated, I guess.
Exactly. If it prioritizes inclusivity and safety, it could be a positive thing. If not, it could be a disaster.
Let's hope the developers are thinking about that. The proliferation of subscription services.
I'm starting to feel overwhelmed by all the subscription services I'm paying for. Streaming, music, apps, it adds up.
Tell me about it. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. Each one seems small, but together they're a significant expense.
I tried to cancel a few recently, and it was such a hassle. They make it so difficult to unsubscribe.
That's intentional, of course. They're hoping you'll forget about it and keep paying.
I think I need to do a serious audit of my subscriptions and cut back on the ones I don't really use.
Good idea. I need to do the same. It's easy to lose track of what you're paying for.
Maybe there should be an app that helps you manage all your subscriptions.
The pros and cons of smart assistants. I'm considering getting a smart assistant like Alexa or Google Home. Are they actually useful or just another gadget?
They can be surprisingly helpful. I use mine to set timers, play music, and control my smart lights.
That sounds convenient, but I'm also a little worried about privacy. Are they always listening?
That's a valid concern. They are always passively listening for their wake word, but you can adjust the privacy settings and delete your voice recordings.
Okay, that's good to know. Are there any other downsides?
Sometimes they misunderstand you or give you inaccurate information, and they can be a bit addictive. It's easy to get lazy and rely on them for everything.
I see. It's a trade-off between convenience and potential drawbacks. The rise of the digital nomad.
I'm seeing more and more people traveling the world while working remotely. The digital nomad lifestyle seems really appealing.
It does, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are challenges, like unstable internet connections and visa issues.
Yeah, I imagine the logistics can be complicated, but the freedom to work from anywhere must be amazing.
Definitely. And it can be a great way to experience different cultures and meet new people.
Do you think it's a sustainable lifestyle in the long term?
It depends on the person. Some people thrive on the constant change, while others crave stability and routine.
I guess it's not for everyone, but it's definitely changing the way people think about work and travel.
The shifting landscape of online news consumption.
Where do you usually get your news these days?
Mostly online, but it's hard to know what to trust. Everything feels so biased.
I agree. Social media is convenient, but it's also a breeding ground for misinformation.
And traditional news outlets have their own agendas. It's hard to find objective reporting.
Do you pay for any news subscriptions?
I do. I subscribe to a couple of reputable news organizations that I trust. It's worth it to support quality journalism.
That's a good idea. I might have to consider that. Digital legacy. What happens to your accounts?
Have you ever thought about what happens to your social media accounts when you die? That's a bit morbid. But yeah, I've wondered. I guess they just sit there, untouched? Not necessarily. Some platforms allow you to designate a, quote, legacy contact who can manage your account after you're gone. Really? What can they do? They can memorialize the account, download your data, or even delete it entirely, depending on the platform's policies. That's actually a pretty good idea. It's better than leaving everything in limbo. Exactly. It's something worth considering, especially if you have a lot of valuable content on your accounts. I'll definitely look into setting that up. Thanks for the heads up.
The death of the blog?
Do you think blogs are becoming obsolete with the rise of social media and video content?
I wouldn't say obsolete, but definitely less prominent. Short-form content is king now.
It's a shame, though. Blogs offer a space for more in-depth analysis and personal reflection.
That's true. But attention spans are shorter these days, and people want instant gratification.
Maybe there's a niche for longer-form content for those who are actually interested in a topic.
Definitely. There will always be readers who appreciate well-written, thoughtful pieces.
So blogs might not be the dominant force they once were, but they're not going anywhere completely.
Exactly. They're evolving, finding their place in the new digital landscape.
The ethics of using AI in hiring processes.
I heard some companies are using AI to screen job applicants. What do you think about that?
That's interesting, but also a little concerning. It sounds efficient, but is it fair?
That's what I'm wondering. Could the AI be biased based on the data it's trained on?
Definitely a possibility. If the training data reflects existing biases, the AI will perpetuate them.
So it could unintentionally discriminate against certain groups of people?
Exactly. And it might also overlook qualified candidates who don't fit the quote, ideal profile.
It seems like there needs to be a lot of oversight and transparency to ensure these systems are used ethically.
Agreed. AI can be a powerful tool, but it's important to use it responsibly and avoid reinforcing existing inequalities. The evolution of emojis.
Remember when emojis were just a few basic smileys? Now there are thousands.
Yeah, it's crazy. They've become a whole language of their own.
I wonder if they're actually making our communication more nuanced or just more lazy.
I think it's a bit of both. They can definitely add emotional context to a message, but they can also be used as a shortcut.
True, and the interpretations can be so different depending on the person and the context.
Absolutely. It's easy to misinterpret someone's tone if you rely solely on emojis.
So, a picture may be worth 1,000 words, but an emoji is, 100? And potentially confusing?
Haha, something like that. Use with caution, I guess.
The impact of streaming on movie theaters.
Do you think movie theaters will survive the rise of streaming services?
That's a good question. They're definitely facing a lot of competition.
It's so much easier and cheaper to watch movies at home these days.
But there's something special about the communal experience of watching a movie on a big screen with a crowd.
That's true. And some movies are just meant to be seen in theaters for the visual and audio impact.
I think theaters will need to adapt to survive. Maybe offer more immersive experiences or focus on independent films.
Yeah, or maybe offer a more premium experience with better food and seating.
Exactly, they need to give people a reason to leave their couches. The impact of tech on live events.
Do you think technology enhances or detracts from the experience of live events like concerts?
That's a tough one. On one hand, it's great to capture memories with your phone, but
on the other hand, everyone's just watching through their screens instead of being present in the moment.
exactly. And the constant notifications and social media updates can be distracting.
I saw a comedian recently who asked everyone to put their phones away. It was amazing.
That's a bold move, but probably a good one. It forces people to actually engage with the performance.
I think there's a balance to be found. Maybe designated phone-free zones or times would be a good compromise.
The over-reliance on cloud storage.
I'm completely reliant on cloud storage for my photos and documents. Are you?
Pretty much, yeah. It's so convenient, but sometimes I worry about security and accessibility.
That's what I mean. What if the service goes down or gets hacked? We lose everything.
I back up some of the really important stuff to a physical hard drive, just in case.
That's smart. I should probably do that too. It's easy to forget the risks when it's all so seamless.
Exactly. Convenience comes at a price, and sometimes that price is control over your data.
I guess a hybrid approach is the best way to go. Cloud for convenience, physical backup for security.
The pressure of online self-promotion.
Do you ever feel pressured to constantly promote yourself online, especially for career reasons? Absolutely. It's like you have to build a personal brand, even if you're not an influencer. It's exhausting. Keeping up with all the platforms and creating engaging content takes so much time. And it feels so inauthentic sometimes, like you're just performing for an audience. I wonder if it's actually effective, or if employers are just looking for genuine skills and experience. I think it's a combination of both. A strong online presence can definitely help you stand out, but it needs to be backed up by substance. So it's a balancing act between self-promotion and staying true to yourself.
The rise of online courses and skill sharing.
Have you taken any online courses lately? It seems like everyone's learning something new online.
Yeah, I'm actually doing a coding course right now. It's so convenient to learn at my own pace.
I've been thinking about learning a new language. The options are overwhelming.
It's amazing how accessible education has become. You can learn almost anything online these days.
Do you think these courses are as valuable as traditional education?
It depends on the course and your goals, I think. For specific skills, online courses can be incredibly effective.
That's true. And it's a great way to stay relevant in a rapidly changing job market.
Definitely. Lifelong learning is becoming essential, and online courses make it much easier.
The shift away from public likes.
I notice Instagram is testing hiding like counts again. What do you think about that?
I think it could be a good thing. Maybe people will focus more on the content itself rather than the validation of likes.
Yeah, but won't it hurt smaller creators who rely on that visibility?
Potentially. But maybe they'll find other ways to connect with their audience and build genuine engagement.
True. It might also reduce the pressure to constantly chase likes and create perfect content.
Exactly. It could lead to more authentic and diverse content online.
I hope so. It feels like social media has become too much of a competition for attention.
Digital identity and online avatars.
I've been spending a lot of time customizing my avatar for this new game. It's oddly satisfying.
Yeah, it's like creating an idealized version of yourself. Or someone you wish you were.
Exactly. Do you think these digital identities affect how we see ourselves in the real world?
Potentially. It could boost confidence or create unrealistic expectations.
It's interesting how much effort people put into crafting these online personas.
It's a form of self-expression, I guess. A curated version of who we are.
A curated version. That's a good way to put it. Makes you wonder what's real and what's not.
Maybe it's all real, just different facets of the same person. The algorithmic feed. Personalization versus manipulation.
I feel like my social media feed is starting to feel a bit samey. It's all things I already agree with.
That's the algorithm for you. It's designed to show you what it thinks you want to see.
But is that a good thing? Am I just living in an echo chamber?
It's a double-edged sword. Personalization is convenient, but it can limit your exposure to different viewpoints.
So, how do we break out of the algorithm's control?
Actively seek out diverse sources of information and engage with content outside your usual interests. Train the algorithm.
Easier said than done, but I see your point. It's about being proactive. The authenticity paradox of social media marketing.
I saw this influencer promoting a product, and it felt so forced.
That's the problem with a lot of social media marketing. It's hard to be authentic when you're being paid to promote something.
Exactly. It's like they're trying too hard to be relatable, and it just comes across as fake.
People are getting better at spotting inauthenticity. They want genuine recommendations, not just blatant advertising.
So how can brands be more authentic on social media?
By focusing on building relationships with their audience and sharing valuable content, not just pushing products.
That makes sense. It's about creating a real connection, not just a transaction.
The changing landscape of online news consumption.
I mostly get my news from social media these days. It's just so convenient.
I do too, but I worry about the accuracy of the information I'm getting.
That's a valid concern. It's easy to fall for fake news or biased reporting.
And algorithms can create echo chambers, so we're only seeing news that confirms our existing beliefs.
So, how do we stay informed without being manipulated?
Seek out diverse sources of information, fact-check claims, and be aware of your own biases.
It sounds like a lot of work, but it's definitely necessary. Being a responsible news consumer is crucial.
The declining use of QR codes.
Remember when everyone was obsessed with QR codes? They were everywhere.
Oh yeah, restaurants, advertisements, now I barely see them.
What happened? Did people just get tired of scanning them?
Partly. They were often clunky and led to irrelevant websites.
True. The experience wasn't always seamless. It felt like an extra step for little reward.
I think NFC and other technologies offer a smoother experience now.
So is it safe to say QR codes are becoming obsolete?
Not completely. They still have niche uses, but their heyday is definitely over.
The ethics of using AI for social media management.
I saw an ad for an AI tool that manages your social media. It writes posts, schedules them, and even interacts with followers.
Wow, that sounds convenient, but also a little impersonal, right?
That's what I was thinking. Is it ethical to use AI to pretend to be a person online?
It depends on how transparent you are. If you're upfront about using AI, it's less problematic.
But what if people think they're talking to a real person and they're not?
That's where it gets murky. It could be considered deceptive.
Plus, what about authenticity? People value genuine connection, not robotic responses. The future of virtual events. I attended a virtual conference last week, and it was surprisingly engaging.
Really, I've always found them a bit impersonal. Do you think they're here to stay?
I think so. They offer accessibility and convenience that traditional events can't match.
That's true, and the cost is usually lower, but what about networking?
It's different, but platforms are getting better at facilitating virtual connections.
Maybe. I still miss the spontaneity of meeting people in person.
I agree, but virtual events are evolving. The future might be a hybrid of both in-person and online experiences.
The impact of social media on local communities.
I saw that the local bakery is using Instagram to promote their new pastries. That's smart. Social media can be a powerful tool for local businesses. It's great for visibility, but does it really strengthen community bonds? I think it can. It allows people to connect with local events and support local initiatives. That's true. I've found out about a lot of community events through Facebook. It also gives small businesses a platform to interact directly with their customers. So overall, you think social media is a positive influence on local communities? Mostly, yes, as long as people use it responsibly and support genuine local connections.
The impact of technology on our attention spans.
I can't seem to focus on anything for more than a few minutes these days. Is it just me? No, I think technology is definitely playing a role. Constant notifications and distractions are shortening our attention spans. It's like my brain is constantly being pulled in different directions. Exactly. And it's not just social media, it's everything from email to news alerts. So what can we do about it? Is there any way to reclaim our focus, limit screen time, practice mindfulness, and try to create dedicated periods for focused work? Easier said than done, but I know you're right. A digital detox might be in order.
The rise of audio-only social media.
Have you tried any of those audio-only social media platforms?
You mean like Clubhouse? I dipped my toe in, but it didn't really stick.
Yeah, exactly. I find the idea intriguing, but I'm not sure it's sustainable.
I think it depends on the content. If it's engaging and informative, people will listen.
True, but there's so much competition for our attention already. What makes audio stand out?
Maybe the convenience. You can listen while you're doing other things.
That's a good point. Multitasking is definitely a draw. I'm curious to see where it goes.
The allure of disappearing content. I'm addicted to stories on Instagram. It feels less permanent than regular posts.
That's the whole point, right? The ephemerality makes it more appealing.
But does it encourage us to be more authentic or just more reckless?
Maybe a bit of both. You're less likely to overthink it when it disappears in 24 hours.
True, but it also means less accountability for what you say or do.
Good point. It's a double-edged sword, fun but maybe not always wise.
It's definitely changed how we communicate online, for better or worse.
I think it shortened our attention spans even more. The declining use of QR codes.
Remember when everyone was obsessed with QR codes? You barely see them anymore?
Yeah, they had their moment, but I think they were always a bit clunky.
It's just faster to type in a URL or Google something.
Plus, there were security concerns. You never knew where that code was taking you.
True. And now most phones can scan them automatically, but the initial hype is gone.
They might make a comeback in some niche applications, but I doubt they'll ever be mainstream again.
It's a good reminder that not all technology trends stick around.
The ethical implications of targeted advertising.
It's creepy how targeted the ads I see online are. It's like they're reading my mind.
They basically are. They track your browsing history, your location, everything.
Is that ethical? I feel like my privacy is being violated.
It's a trade-off. You get personalized ads, but you give up a lot of personal data.
I'd rather see irrelevant ads than have my information used against me.
You can adjust your privacy settings, but it's hard to completely opt out.
It's a constant battle to protect your data online.
And it's getting harder and harder. The algorithms are getting smarter.
The ethics of sharenting.
I saw a friend posting non-stop about her kid's potty training. Is that really okay?
It's a gray area, isn't it? Sharenting can be cute, but also potentially embarrassing for the child later.
Exactly. What about privacy? That kid didn't consent to having their entire life online.
Some parents think they're creating a digital scrapbook, but it's essentially a public record.
And what if that info is used maliciously? It's scary to think about.
Definitely something parents need to consider more carefully. It's their child's future digital footprint, after all.
I agree. There should be more awareness about the potential downsides.
The gamification of everyday life.
I'm tracking my steps, earning points for exercising. It feels like my life is becoming a game.
That's the power of gamification. It makes mundane tasks more engaging.
But is it sustainable? Will I eventually get bored of earning virtual badges?
Maybe. The key is to find systems that offer real rewards or contribute to meaningful goals.
I guess it's a good way to motivate yourself, but but I wonder if it's healthy to constantly quantify everything.
It could lead to an unhealthy obsession with metrics. Moderation is important.
True. I don't want to turn into a robot obsessed with optimization. The impact of cancel culture. This whole cancel culture thing is getting out of hand, don't you think?
It's definitely a complex issue. On one hand, it holds people accountable for their actions.
But is it always proportionate? Sometimes it feels like people are being punished for minor offenses.
That's the problem. There's often no room for nuance or forgiveness.
And it can be so quick and brutal. A single tweet can ruin someone's career.
It raises questions about the nature of justice and public shaming in the digital age.
I worry about the chilling effect it has on free speech.
Me too. We need to find a better balance between accountability and understanding.
The impact of social media on activism.
Social media has definitely changed the way we do activism, right?
Absolutely. It's easier than ever to spread awareness and organize protests.
But is it all just slacktivism? Liking a post doesn't really change anything.
It can be a starting point. It exposes people to issues they might not otherwise encounter.
True, but it can also create echo chambers and reinforce existing beliefs.
And it's easy to get caught up in online outrage and forget about real-world action.
So it's a tool, but it needs to be used strategically and thoughtfully.
Exactly. Social media activism is just one piece of the puzzle.
The impact of social media on body image.
Scrolling through Instagram always makes me feel insecure about my body.
I think a lot of people feel that way. It's all so carefully curated and filtered.
It's hard to remember that what you see isn't always reality.
Exactly. And the algorithms push content that reinforces those unrealistic beauty standards.
I've started unfollowing accounts that make me feel bad about myself.
That's a great idea. Curating your feed to be more positive is important.
It's a constant battle, though. The pressure is always there.
It is. We need to be more critical and remember that social media is just a highlight reel.
The loneliness paradox of social media.
I have hundreds of friends online, but I still feel lonely sometimes.
That's the paradox of social media. It connects us, but it can also isolate us.
I think it's because the connections are often superficial. Likes and comments aren't the same as real interaction.
Exactly. It's easy to get caught up in the performance of online life and neglect real-world relationships.
I'm trying to be more intentional about spending time with people in person.
That's a great idea. It's important to prioritize quality over quantity when it comes to relationships.
It's a challenge to balance online and offline life. The rise of niche social media platforms. Have you noticed how many new social media platforms are popping up, catering to very specific interests?
Yeah, it's like everyone's trying to find their tribe. Less general, more focused.
I guess people are tired of the noise and negativity on the big platforms.
Exactly. It's about finding genuine connection with like-minded individuals.
Do you think they'll eventually replace the mainstream platforms?
Probably not entirely, but they'll definitely carve out a significant space. Specialization is key.
It's interesting to see how social media is evolving.
Data privacy in the digital age.
I'm increasingly concerned about my data privacy online. It feels like everyone's tracking everything I do. You're not wrong. Companies collect massive amounts of data about us, often without our explicit consent. What can we even do about it? It's impossible to avoid technology completely. There are things you can do, like using privacy-focused browsers, VPNs, and adjusting your privacy settings on social media. I've tried some of that, but it's so complicated and time-consuming. It is. But it's worth the effort to protect your personal information. Think about what that data could be used for. True, I need to be more proactive about it.
Online gaming and esports. Have you ever watched any esports tournaments? They're huge.
I've seen a few clips. It's crazy how skilled those players are. It's like watching professional athletes.
Exactly. And the prize pools are enormous. Some players are making millions of dollars.
It's definitely a legitimate career path now. But what about the downsides? I've heard about issues with addiction and toxicity.
Yeah, those are real concerns. It's important to maintain a healthy balance and avoid getting sucked into the competitive atmosphere too much.
It's also important to remember that not everyone can be a professional gamer. It takes a lot of dedication and natural talent.
True, but it's still a fun hobby for millions of people.
Social media's impact on mental health.
I've been feeling really down lately, and I think social media might be partly to blame.
I can understand that. It's easy to fall into the comparison trap when you're constantly seeing everyone's highlight reel.
Exactly. It's like everyone's living perfect lives, and I'm just here.
Maybe try limiting your time on social media, or unfollowing accounts that make you feel bad about yourself.
I've tried that, but it's hard to disconnect completely. I feel like I'm missing out on something.
FOMO is real, but remember, most of what you see online is curated and not necessarily reality. Try to focus on your own life and achievements.
Thanks, I'll try to keep that in mind. Maybe I need a digital detox.
The ethics of AI-generated content.
Have you seen how good AI-generated art and writing are getting? It's kind of scary.
I know, it raises so many ethical questions, like who owns the copyright to something an AI creates?
That's a big one. And what about plagiarism? If an AI is trained on existing works, is it just copying them?
And what about the impact on human artists and writers? Will they be replaced by machines?
It's definitely a disruptive technology. I think we need clear guidelines and regulations to prevent abuse.
Agreed. It's important to consider the societal implications before AI becomes too pervasive.
It's a bit like the Wild West right now, isn't it?
The future of education technology.
I'm curious about how technology will change education in the future. What do you think?
I think we'll see more personalized learning experiences, with AI-powered tools that adapt to each student's individual needs.
That sounds great. But what about the digital divide? Not everyone has access to computers and the internet.
That's a major challenge. We need to ensure that everyone has equal access to technology, regardless of their socioeconomic background.
What about the role of teachers? Will they be replaced by robots?
I don't think so. Teachers will still be essential for providing guidance, support, and mentorship. Technology will just be a tool to enhance their teaching.
Hopefully, it will make education more engaging and accessible for everyone. The future of remote work. Do you think remote work is here to stay? Or will companies eventually force everyone back to the office?
I think it's definitely here to stay, at least in some form. Companies have realized that it can be just as productive, and it saves them money on office space.
I love the flexibility of working from home, but I do miss the social interaction of the office.
Yeah, that's a common complaint. It's important to find ways to stay connected with colleagues, even when you're not physically together.
What about the impact on company culture? Is it harder to build a strong team when everyone's working remotely?
It can be, but companies are adapting. They're using virtual team building activities and online communication tools to foster a sense of community.
It will be interesting to see how it all evolves in the coming years.
The impact of 5G technology.
Everyone's talking about 5G. Is it really that much better than 4G?
It's significantly faster and more reliable, which opens up a lot of possibilities. Think about self-driving cars, remote surgery, and augmented reality.
Wow, that sounds amazing. But are there any downsides?
The infrastructure is expensive to build, and there are concerns about the potential health effects of the radio waves.
I've heard about those health concerns. Are they legitimate?
The scientific evidence is still inconclusive, but some people are worried. More research is needed.
Hopefully, they'll address those concerns before it becomes too widespread. The influence of social media influencers. I'm constantly bombarded with ads from social media influencers. Do you think they actually have any real influence?
Definitely. They become a major force in marketing. People trust their recommendations, especially if they're authentic and relatable.
But how can you tell if they're being genuine or just promoting products for the money?
That's the challenge. It's important to be skeptical and do your own research. Look for reviews from multiple sources.
It seems like a lot of pressure to always be promoting something. I don't know how they do it.
It's a full-time job. They have to create content, engage with their followers, and manage their brand. It's not as easy as it looks.
I guess there's more to it than just posting pretty pictures.
The metaverse, hype versus reality.
So what do you think about this whole metaverse thing? Is it just hype, or is there something real there?
I'm skeptical. It seems like a solution looking for a problem. We already have the internet. Do we really need a virtual world layered on top?
But think about the potential for immersive experiences, like virtual tourism or collaborative workspaces.
True, but the technology still feels clunky and expensive. Plus, the privacy concerns are huge.
Yeah, the privacy aspect worries me too. Who controls the data in these virtual worlds?
Exactly. And how do we prevent online harassment and abuse from simply migrating to a new platform?
Good point. I guess we'll have to wait and see how it develops, but I'm not holding my breath. The spread of misinformation online. It's terrifying how easily misinformation spreads online. How can we combat it?
It's a complex problem. Social media algorithms often prioritize engagement over accuracy, which can amplify false information.
So what's the solution? Should social media platforms be more responsible for policing content?
That's one approach, but it raises questions about censorship and free speech. It's a slippery slope.
What about media literacy education? Should schools be teaching kids how to critically evaluate online information?
Absolutely, that's a crucial step. People need to be able to identify fake news and biased sources.
It feels like we're in a constant battle against disinformation. The authenticity paradox of social media marketing. I'm so tired of seeing brands trying too hard to be authentic on social media. It feels so forced.
Totally. It's like they think they can just slap a real filter on their ads and call it a day.
The irony is, the more they try to be authentic, the less genuine they seem.
It's a paradox, right? Authenticity can't be manufactured. It has to be earned.
I think people respond more to transparency and honesty, even if it means admitting mistakes.
Exactly. Show the behind the scenes, the struggles, the real people behind the brand.
Less perfectly curated images, more genuine stories. That's what I want to see.
The changing landscape of online news consumption. Where do you usually get your news these days?
Mostly online, but it's getting harder to know what to trust.
I know, right? So much misinformation and biased reporting.
And the algorithms are feeding us what they think we want to see, not necessarily what's important.
I try to get my news from a variety of sources, but it's time-consuming.
Yeah, and it's easy to get stuck in echo chambers.
I think media literacy is more important than ever.
Absolutely. We need to be critical thinkers and fact-checkers.
The declining use of QR codes.
Remember when QR codes were supposed to be the next big thing? Oh yeah. Every restaurant menu, every advertisement, they were everywhere. Now I barely see them. What happened? I think they were clunky. Having to open your camera app just to see a menu link was annoying. True. And sometimes the link was broken or led to a terrible website. Also, I think NFC and other contactless payment options took their place for many use cases. Good point. They had their moment, but ultimately weren't convenient enough. I guess there'll be a tech history footnote.
The ethics of sharing.
What do you think about parents who constantly post pictures and videos of their kids online?
It's a tricky issue. On one hand, it's natural to want to share your kids' milestones with friends and family.
But on the other hand, are they considering their kids' privacy and future?
Exactly. Kids don't have a say in what's being shared about them online.
And those pictures and videos could potentially be used in ways they never intended.
I think parents need to be really mindful of what they're posting and who can see it.
It's about finding a balance between sharing and respecting their kids' privacy.
The ethics of using AI for social media management.
I've been reading about using AI to schedule posts and engage with followers on social media.
Seems efficient, but doesn't that feel a bit impersonal?
That's what I'm worried about. Where's the line between automation and genuine interaction?
If AI is writing all your captions and responding to comments, are you even really present on your own account?
Exactly. It could also lead to accidental misinformation or insensitive responses.
And what about transparency? Should people know if they're interacting with a bot?
Definitely. Deception is never a good look. I think AI should be a tool, not a replacement for human connection.
Agreed. It's about finding a balance. The future of virtual events.
Do you think virtual events are here to stay, even after things go back to normal?
I think so. They offer accessibility and convenience that physical events can't match.
True. And they can reach a much wider audience.
But I do miss the in-person networking and spontaneous interactions.
Yeah, virtual events can feel a bit impersonal sometimes.
I think the future is hybrid events, combining the best of both worlds.
That makes sense. Offer a virtual option for those who can't attend in person, but still have the physical event for those who want it.
The impact of social media on local communities.
Do you think social media helps or hurts local communities? That's a tough one. It can definitely connect people and promote local businesses. Yeah, I've found out about so many events and initiatives through local Facebook groups. But it can also contribute to negativity and division, especially with online arguments. True. And sometimes it feels like people are more focused on posting about their experiences than actually engaging with them. And the spread of misinformation can be really damaging to local issues. It's a double-edged sword, for sure. It all depends on how people use it.
The impact of technology on our attention spans.
Do you ever feel like your attention span is getting shorter because of technology?
Definitely. I can barely focus on anything for more than a few minutes without getting distracted.
It's like our brains are being constantly bombarded with information and notifications.
And the algorithms are designed to keep us scrolling and clicking for as long as possible.
I've been trying to be more mindful of my screen time, but it's hard.
Me too. I think we need to consciously train our brains to focus again.
Maybe we should all go back to reading physical books.
The rise of audio-only social media. Have you tried any of those audio-only social media platforms?
You mean like Clubhouse? I dipped my toe in, but it wasn't really for me.
I can see that. It feels like a constant conference call sometimes.
Yeah, and I miss the visual element. I like seeing faces and reactions.
But I think it's interesting how people are craving more authentic conversations, even without video.
True. It removes some of the pressure to look perfect. You can just focus on the content.
Maybe it's a reaction to the overproduced nature of platforms like Instagram.
Could be. I still prefer a visual medium, but I see the appeal.
The shifting definition of influencer.
I saw an article claiming the term influencer is becoming outdated. What do you think?
Yeah, I can see that. It feels like everyone's trying to be one, and the meaning's gotten diluted.
Exactly. It used to be about genuine expertise, but now it's just about followers.
Plus, people are getting savvier about sponsored content. They can spot a fake recommendation a mile away.
So what's the alternative? Are we going back to trusting traditional experts?
Maybe a mix of both. Authenticity is key, whether you're a doctor or just someone with a relatable story.
That makes sense. People want realness, not just a perfectly curated image.
Digital legacy planning.
Have you ever thought about what happens to your online accounts after you die?
That's a bit morbid, but no, not really.
It's called digital legacy planning. Who gets access to your photos, emails, social media?
Wow, I guess I should. I have years of photos on my accounts.
Exactly. Some platforms allow you to designate a, quote, legacy contact.
That's smart. I need to look into that. It's like a digital will.
Precisely. It's something we all need to consider in this digital age. Digital minimalism. I've been thinking about trying digital minimalism. It feels like I spend too much time online.
Yeah, I get that. I'm constantly checking my phone. What does digital minimalism involve?
Basically, intentionally cutting out distracting tech and being more mindful about what you allow back in.
Sounds tough. What would you cut out first?
Probably social media apps. They're a huge time sink.
I think I'd struggle with that. Maybe I could start with limiting notifications.
That's a good idea. Baby steps are key. The goal is to use tech intentionally, not reactively.
The appeal of nostalgic tech.
I saw someone using a flip phone the other day. It made me weirdly nostalgic.
I get it. There's something charming about older tech. Simpler times, maybe?
Exactly. No constant notifications, just basic functionality.
I missed the days of physical keyboards on phones. Typing was so much faster.
And remember playing Snake on Nokia phones? Hours of entertainment.
Haha, yes. It's funny how we romanticize outdated technology.
Maybe it's a reaction to the constant upgrades and complexity of modern tech.
The ethics of location tracking. I'm a little creeped out by how much my phone tracks my location.
Me too. It's convenient for maps, but it feels like an invasion of privacy.
What are your thoughts on the ethics of location tracking?
I think it's a slippery slope. Companies collect so much data without our full understanding.
And then they sell it to advertisers, or worse, governments.
There should be more transparency and control over our location data.
Agreed. We need to be more aware of what we're consenting to when we use these apps.
The ethics of using stock photos.
What are your thoughts on using stock photos for projects?
They're convenient, but sometimes they feel a bit generic and impersonal.
Exactly. And ethically, are we misrepresenting something by using a staged photo?
That's a good point. It depends on the context, I think.
If it's for advertising, it can be misleading, especially if it's portraying something unrealistic.
Yeah, authenticity is becoming increasingly important. People want to see real.
So maybe investing in original photography is a better long-term strategy.
The future of cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity is becoming a bigger and bigger concern, isn't it? Absolutely. With everything online, we're all vulnerable. What do you think the future of cybersecurity looks like? I imagine AI will play a huge role, both in defending and attacking. That's scary. It's like an arms race between hackers and security experts. Exactly. And I think We'll see more emphasis on individual responsibility for online security. Hopefully, that includes better education and easier-to-use security tools.
The future of online reviews.
I'm starting to distrust online reviews. So many seem fake. I know, right? It's hard to tell what's genuine anymore. Do you think there's a future for online reviews? Or are they becoming obsolete? I think they'll evolve. Maybe AI can help filter out the fake ones, perhaps? Or maybe verified purchase reviews will become the norm. That's a good idea. Or reviews only from people with verified profiles. Ultimately, I think we'll rely more on trusted sources and personal recommendations.
The impact of tech on social skills?
Do you think technology is affecting our social skills?
I worry about that sometimes. Kids are spending so much time online instead of interacting face-to-face.
It's definitely a concern. It's easier to communicate through text than in person.
And online interactions can be less nuanced. You miss out on body language and tone of voice.
But tech also connects people who might not otherwise meet. It can build communities.
That's true. It's about finding a balance and prioritizing real-world interactions.
I think being mindful about our tech use and making an effort to connect offline is crucial.
The impact of technology on hobbies.
Do you think technology has changed the way we approach hobbies?
Definitely. Think about photography. Everyone's a photographer now with their phone.
True. And tutorials and online communities make it easier to learn new skills.
But it can also be overwhelming. So much information, so many options.
That's a good point. It can take away from the hands-on experience.
I guess it's a double-edged sword. Technology enhances some aspects but detracts from others.
I agree. Finding the right balance is key.
The right to repair.
Have you heard about the right to repair movement?
Vaguely. Isn't it about being able to fix your own electronics?
Exactly. Companies often make it difficult or impossible to repair devices yourself or by independent shops.
That's frustrating. I had to buy a new phone because the battery died, even though everything else was fine.
That's exactly what they want. Right to repair advocates want access to parts, tools, and information.
It makes sense. It would reduce e-waste and save people money.
Definitely. It's a fight against planned obsolescence.
I'm all for it. Where can I learn more?
Tech dependence in everyday life. I realized the other day that I can barely remember phone numbers anymore. I'm totally reliant on my phone.
Yeah, it's scary how dependent we've become. I can't even navigate without GPS now.
What happens if the internet goes down? I feel like half the population wouldn't know what to do.
It's a valid concern. We've outsourced so many basic skills to technology.
I'm trying to be more mindful of it, like consciously trying to remember directions or phone numbers.
That's a good idea. Maybe we should all try to unplug a little more often.
Definitely. It's about finding a balance between convenience and self-sufficiency.
The allure of disappearing content.
I don't get the appeal of Snapchat or Instagram stories. Why post something that disappears in 24 hours?
It's about authenticity and immediacy. It's less curated than a permanent post.
So it's like a digital version of a casual conversation?
Exactly. It's a way to share fleeting moments without the pressure of creating a perfect image.
I guess I can see that. It's less about building a brand and more about connecting in the moment.
Plus, there's a sense of exclusivity. If you miss it, you miss it.
Interesting. Maybe I'll give it another try.
The appeal of retro tech.
I saw someone using a Game Boy the other day. It made me feel so nostalgic.
Retro tech is definitely having a moment. I think people crave the simplicity and tangibility.
Everything now is so sleek and minimalist. There's something charming about the chunky designs of older gadgets.
Plus, they were built to last, unlike some modern devices that seem to break after a year or two.
True. I also think it's a reaction against constant connectivity, a way to disconnect and enjoy something simpler.
That makes sense. Maybe I should dust off my old Walkman.
Do it. You might be surprised how much you enjoy it. The case for ditching smartphones.
I'm seriously considering getting a dumb phone. I feel like my smartphone controls my life.
Really, going completely off the grid like that? What about maps, music, and staying in touch?
I'd buy a separate GPS, use an old iPod, and honestly, I think I'd be more asterisks in touch with people if I wasn't constantly distracted.
That's a fair point. I do spend a lot of time mindlessly scrolling, but wouldn't you miss the convenience?
Probably, at first. But I think the benefits of being more present would outweigh the inconvenience.
I can see that. Maybe a trial run is in order before committing fully.
Good idea. I'll try leaving it at home more often first.
The evolution of online forums.
Remember the old days of dedicated forums? It feels like everyone just uses Reddit or Discord now.
Yeah, those niche forums were something else. So much concentrated knowledge and passionate debate.
I miss the more structured discussions. Everything feels so fleeting on social media.
True. But the bigger platforms offer wider reach and easier accessibility, which is why they've taken over.
It's a trade-off, isn't it? Depth versus breadth. Community versus audience.
Exactly. I wonder if we'll ever see a resurgence of the smaller, focused forums.
I hope so. There's something special about those tight-knit communities.
The evolution of photography.
It's amazing how photography has changed. Everyone's a photographer now with their phone cameras.
True, but does that mean everyone's a good photographer? There's a difference between taking a picture and creating art.
I agree. But the accessibility has democratized the medium. More people are expressing themselves visually.
And the editing tools are incredible. You can completely transform an image with a few taps.
Sometimes I miss the days of film photography, though. The anticipation of developing the negatives.
Yeah, there was a certain magic to that process. It felt more deliberate.
It's a different kind of magic now. Instant gratification versus delayed reward. The future of online reviews.
I rely so heavily on online reviews before buying anything, but are they even trustworthy anymore?
That's the problem, isn't it? So many fake reviews and biased opinions. It's hard to know what to believe.
I've started looking for reviews that seem more detailed and specific, rather than just generic praise or complaints.
That's a good strategy. Video reviews are also helpful as they offer a more visual assessment.
I wonder if AI could be used to analyze reviews and identify patterns of deception.
That would be amazing. A truthometer for online reviews.
Hopefully, the future of online reviews will be more transparent and reliable.
The gamification of everyday life.
Everything seems to be gamified these days. Fitness trackers, productivity apps, it's everywhere. It's a clever way to motivate people, turning mundane tasks into challenges and rewarding progress. But is it sustainable? Do we become reliant on external rewards to do basic things? That's a valid concern. The goal should be to internalize the motivation, not just chase the points. I think it works best when it's used to build habits, like tracking your water intake or exercise. Yeah, as long as it doesn't become obsessive, it's easy to get caught up in the competition. Agreed. It's about using gamification as a tool, not letting it control you.
The impact of social media on activism.
Social media seems to be crucial for modern activism, but is it always effective?
It's a double-edged sword. It amplifies voices and allows for rapid mobilization, but also spreads misinformation easily.
I've seen so much slacktivism, people sharing posts but not taking real-world action.
That's a valid criticism. But it can also be a gateway to deeper engagement for some people.
True, it's definitely raised awareness about important issues. But converting awareness into tangible change is the challenge.
Exactly. It's a tool, and like any tool, it can be used effectively or ineffectively.
I guess the key is to combine online activism with offline action.
The impact of tech on hobbies.
Technology has completely changed how we pursue hobbies, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Think about photography, music production, even knitting. Everything's been digitized.
On one hand, it makes hobbies more accessible, tutorials, online communities, endless resources.
But it can also take away some of the charm and hands-on experience, the tactile feel of traditional crafts, for example.
True. And the pressure to share everything online can suck the joy out of it sometimes.
It's about finding a balance, I think. Using technology to enhance the experience without letting it dominate.
Yeah, using technology as a tool, not letting it become the hobby itself.
Content creators and platform dependency.
It's tough being a content creator these days. So much platform dependency.
I know, right? Building your entire audience on one platform feels risky.
What if the algorithm changes or the platform just shuts down?
Exactly. Diversification is key, but it takes so much extra work.
Yeah, juggling YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and a personal website is exhausting.
And then you have to keep up with all the trends on each platform.
It's a constant hustle to stay relevant and avoid being completely reliant on one source.
Digital decluttering and minimalism.
I'm trying to do a digital declutter. My phone is overflowing with apps and photos.
I should probably do that too. It's amazing how much digital stuff we accumulate.
Deleting old files and unsubscribing from newsletters feels so good, though.
It's like a weight off your shoulders. Less digital noise, more mental clarity.
Exactly. I'm aiming for a more minimalist digital life.
What are you doing with all your old photos?
I'm backing them up to a hard drive and then deleting them from my phone. I don't need thousands of blurry selfies.
Good idea. I might try that too. Less screen time, more real life.
The demise of SMS, messaging app dominance. Remember when everyone used to text each other with SMS? Seems ancient now.
Totally. Now it's all WhatsApp, Signal, or iMessage. Free messaging is a game changer.
Yeah, and the features, group chats, voice notes, even video calls. SMS can't compete.
I wonder if SMS will completely disappear one day. It's already pretty rare for me.
Maybe for emergency alerts or two-factor authentication, but for casual chatting, doubt it.
True, those are good points. It still has some niche uses.
It's just a shame that the different messaging apps don't all work together.
That's the real problem. Interoperability would be amazing.
The ethics of AI-powered social media management.
So many companies are using AI to manage their social media now.
Yeah, automating posts and responding to comments seems efficient, but is it ethical?
That's what I'm wondering. If a bot is pretending to be a real person, that feels deceptive.
And what about AI-generated content? Is it okay to pass it off as original?
Transparency is key, I think. If you're using AI, you should disclose it.
But would people trust a brand that admits to using bots for customer service?
It's a tricky balance, honesty versus efficiency. I'm not sure there's a clear answer.
I think it depends on how the AI is used. If it's just to filter out spam, that's fine, but creating fake engagement is not.
The evolution of online avatars.
Remember when online avatars were just pixelated images?
Oh yeah, like on old forums and chat rooms. So basic.
Now you can create incredibly realistic 3D avatars that look almost exactly like you.
Or completely fantastical ones. It's all about self-expression.
I wonder if people feel more comfortable being themselves online when they're represented by an avatar.
Maybe. It can be a way to explore different identities or just have fun.
It's interesting how our online personas are evolving alongside the technology.
It is. Maybe one day we'll all live entirely through our avatars.
The evolution of online reviews.
Online reviews have changed so much. Remember when there were just a few lines on Yelp? Now there are video reviews, star ratings, and even verified buyer badges. It's intense. And fake reviews are a huge problem. It's hard to know what to trust. Definitely. I look for patterns and try to spot overly positive or negative language. I've also started paying attention to the reviewer's profile. Are they a real person? Good point. Some sites are better at filtering out fake accounts than others. It's a constant battle between businesses trying to boost their ratings and consumers trying to find honest feedback. It is. And the stakes are high for businesses. Good or bad reviews can make or break them.
The impact of social media on news credibility.
It's so hard to know what's real news and what's fake on social media.
I know, it's a minefield of misinformation. Everyone's a journalist now.
And algorithms prioritize engagement over accuracy, so sensational headlines spread faster.
I try to verify information from multiple sources before sharing anything.
That's a good practice. We all have a responsibility to be more critical consumers of news.
It's exhausting, though. It feels like you have to fact-check everything.
I agree, but the consequences of spreading false information can be serious.
True. It's a constant battle to stay informed and avoid being misled.
The loneliness paradox of social media.
It's weird how social media is supposed to connect us, but it can also make us feel more lonely.
Yeah, it's a paradox. We see everyone else's highlight reel and feel like we're missing out.
And it's so easy to compare yourself to others and feel inadequate.
I think it's because online interactions can't replace real-life connections.
Scrolling through Instagram isn't the same as having a meaningful conversation with a friend.
Exactly. It's important to balance our online lives with offline activities.
Easier said than done, though. Social media is so addictive.
It is. Maybe we all need to schedule more digital detox time.
The reemergence of forums.
I've noticed a lot of forums are making a comeback.
Really? I thought social media had completely replaced them.
Well, social media is great for quick updates, but forums offer deeper discussions.
That's true. You can find really specific communities and get detailed answers to your questions.
And the format encourages longer, more thoughtful posts.
I guess it's a reaction to the constant stream of shallow content on social media.
Maybe people are craving more substance and genuine connection.
It makes sense. I might have to revisit some old forums myself.
The rise of niche social media communities.
Have you noticed how many niche social media communities are popping up?
Yeah, it's a reaction to the huge platforms feeling so impersonal and overwhelming, I think.
Like, I joined a group just for people who collect vintage board games.
That's cool. I'm in one for amateur astronomers. It's great to connect with people who share your specific interests.
It feels more authentic and less about performative posting.
Definitely. The smaller size makes it easier to build genuine connections.
I think it's a healthy trend. Finding your tribe online is important.
I agree. I think this is the next phase of social media. More focused, smaller groups.
Content creators and platform algorithms.
It feels like content creators are constantly chasing the algorithm these days.
Totally. It's a never-ending game of trying to figure out what the platform wants to see.
And it's so frustrating when you put a lot of effort into something and the algorithm just doesn't show it to anyone.
I know. It can be really discouraging. It feels like you're not in control of your own success.
It's a constant battle between creating what you love and creating what the algorithm wants.
And the algorithms are constantly changing, so you have to keep adapting.
It makes you wonder if it's even worth trying to play the game.
Well, you can't ignore it completely, but focusing on building a genuine connection with your audience is always a good strategy.
Content creators and platform dependency. I saw that famous YouTuber got banned from their main platform. What a nightmare.
Yeah, it highlights how dependent creators are on these platforms. One wrong move and their entire livelihood is gone.
It's risky putting all your eggs in one basket, isn't it? Diversifying seems crucial.
Definitely. Building an email list, having a website, being on multiple platforms spread the risk.
Easier said than done, though. It takes so much time and effort to manage everything.
True, but the alternative is being completely at the mercy of a platform's algorithm and policies.
So own your audience, don't rent it.
Precisely. It's about long-term sustainability, not just short-term viral success.
Digital decluttering and minimalism.
I'm trying to do a digital detox this weekend. It's overwhelming how much time I spend online.
I've been thinking about that too. My phone is constantly buzzing with notifications.
I'm deleting apps I don't use, unsubscribing from emails, and organizing my files. It feels surprisingly liberating.
That sounds intense. I might start with just turning off notifications for certain apps.
Baby steps are good. The goal is to be more intentional about how we use technology, not eliminate it entirely.
True. It's about finding a healthy balance and not letting it control our lives.
Exactly. More living, less scrolling.
I'm in. Maybe we can compare notes next week.
The demise of SMS messaging app dominance.
Remember when we used to pay per text message? Feels like ancient history now.
Totally. Now it's all about WhatsApp, Telegram, and iMessage. Free messaging changed everything.
It's so convenient, but I do worry about all my data being held by these companies.
True, privacy is a concern. But the convenience is hard to ignore, especially for international communication.
I wonder if SMS will eventually disappear completely.
Probably not entirely. It's still used for verification codes and some basic notifications.
Good point. So more like a background utility than a primary communication method.
Exactly. The king is dead. Long live the king of messaging apps.
The ethics of AI-powered social media management.
I heard some companies are using AI to manage their social media accounts. Is that even ethical?
It's a gray area, isn't it? On one hand, it can save time and resources. On the other, it can feel impersonal and inauthentic.
Exactly. What if the AI makes a mistake or posts something inappropriate?
That's a risk. And there's the question of transparency. Should companies disclose that they're using AI?
I think they should. People deserve to know if they're interacting with a bot or a real person.
Agreed. It's all about being upfront and honest with your audience.
Plus, I can't replace genuine human connection, can it?
Not yet, anyway, but the technology is evolving so quickly, who knows what the future holds.
The evolution of online avatars. Remember the early days of the internet? With pixelated avatars and simple profile pictures?
Oh yeah, now we have hyper-realistic 3D avatars and elaborate digital identities.
It's amazing how far they've come, but I wonder, are we losing something in the process?
Like what? Authenticity?
Maybe. It's easier to hide behind a perfect digital representation of yourself, isn't it?
True, but it also allows people to express themselves in creative and unique ways.
That's a good point. It's all about finding a balance between self-expression and authenticity, I guess.
Exactly. And as technology evolves, so will our digital identities.
The evolution of online reviews.
I rely so heavily on online reviews before trying a new restaurant or buying something online.
Me too, but I'm always a bit skeptical. How do you know which ones are genuine?
I look for patterns, read a variety of reviews, and ignore the extreme ones, either overly positive or negative.
That's smart. I've definitely been burned by fake reviews before. It's frustrating.
It's getting harder to spot them too. Companies are getting more sophisticated with their fake review campaigns.
Maybe we need a review system for the reviewers themselves.
Haha, that's a great idea. A meta review system.
Seriously though, the whole system needs to be more transparent and trustworthy.
The impact of social media on news credibility.
It's so hard to know what's true anymore with all the news shared on social media.
I agree. It's become a breeding ground for misinformation and fake news.
And the algorithms prioritize engagement over accuracy, so sensationalized stories often spread faster.
Exactly. It's up to us to be critical thinkers and fact-check everything we see.
But who has the time for that? It's exhausting.
I know, but it's essential. We can't just blindly believe everything we read online.
Maybe social media platforms should take more responsibility for the content shared on their sites.
They definitely should. It's a complex problem with no easy solutions, but something needs to change.
The re-emergence of forums.
I've noticed forums are making a comeback. I thought they were dead.
Me too, but I think people are craving more in-depth discussions than social media allows.
Yeah, everything on social media is so fleeting and superficial.
Forums offer a sense of community and a place to really dive deep into specific topics.
And the anonymity can be appealing too. You can be more open and honest without worrying about your reputation.
That's true. It's a different kind of online experience, more focused on substance than image.
I might have to dust off my old forum account and see what's out there.
You might be surprised at what you find. It's like a hidden corner of the internet.
The rise of niche social media communities.
I'm getting a bit tired of the big social media platforms. Everything feels so generic.
I know what you mean. I've been exploring some smaller, niche communities focused on specific interests.
Like what? I'm curious.
Well, there's one dedicated to vintage typewriter enthusiasts, and another for people who love miniature painting.
Wow, that's specific, but I guess it makes sense. You can really connect with people who share your passion.
Exactly. The conversations are more meaningful, and there's less of the usual social media drama.
Maybe I should look for one related to my hobbies. Thanks for the idea.
No problem. It's a refreshing change from the mainstream.
The authenticity crisis on social media. Do you ever feel like everyone on social media is just pretending to be someone they're not?
Definitely. It's like a constant performance. People are so concerned with projecting a certain image.
It makes it hard to know who's being genuine. I miss the days when social media felt more authentic.
I think there's a growing desire for more unfiltered content. People are tired of the perfection.
Hopefully, that will lead to a shift towards more real and relatable content creators.
I hope so too. I'm starting to appreciate accounts that show the messy, unglamorous side of life.
Me too. It's refreshing to see people being honest and vulnerable.
The declining use of email.
I've noticed I'm using email less and less these days. Everything's moving to messaging apps.
Yeah, email feels so formal and slow now. Instant messaging is just so much more convenient.
Exactly. Plus, email inboxes are constantly bombarded with spam and promotional material.
True. I only really use email for official communication or things that require documentation.
Same here. I wonder if email will eventually become obsolete altogether.
I doubt it will disappear completely, but I think its role will continue to diminish.
It's definitely interesting to see how communication methods are evolving. The ethics of online reviews.
I'm always a bit skeptical of online reviews. How much can you really trust them? It's tricky, isn't it? Some are clearly fake or biased. It's hard to know what's genuine. Exactly. And I worry about people leaving overly harsh reviews based on a single bad experience. I try to look for patterns and read a variety of reviews before making a decision. A single outlier isn't usually representative. That's a good strategy. I also try to consider the reviewer's perspective. What are they looking for in a product or service? I think it's also important to remember that reviews are subjective. What works for one person might not work for another. Ultimately, you have to use your own judgment and not rely solely on online reviews.
The impact of social media on body image. I've been feeling really down about my body lately, and I think social media is partly to blame.
I understand. It's hard not to compare yourself to the seemingly perfect images people post online.
Exactly. It's like everyone is airbrushed and flawless. It's so unrealistic.
I've started unfollowing accounts that make me feel bad about myself. It's helped a little.
That's a good idea. I should probably do the same. It's hard to remember that it's all curated.
It is. And remember, filters and editing are rampant. Nobody actually looks like that all the time.
Thanks. It's good to hear that. I need to be more mindful of what I'm consuming online. The impact of social media on political discourse. I'm increasingly concerned about the impact of social media on political discourse. It seems to be making things worse.
I agree. The echo chambers and misinformation are really damaging. It's hard to have a rational conversation.
Exactly. And the algorithms seem to amplify extreme views, making it even harder to find common ground.
It's also created a culture of outrage and reactivity. People are quick to jump to conclusions and attack each other.
I think we need to be more critical of the information we consume online and be willing to engage in respectful dialogue.
Definitely. It's up to us to create a more constructive online environment.
Easier said than done, but it's a goal worth striving for. The longevity of current social media trends. Do you think all these current social media trends will last, or are they just fleeting fads?
That's a good question. Some trends, like short-form video, seem to have staying power. Others are more ephemeral.
Yeah, I'm thinking about things like specific filters or challenges. They seem to disappear as quickly as they appear.
I think it depends on whether they tap into a deeper cultural need or just offer a temporary distraction.
That makes sense. The ones that are truly innovative or useful tend to stick around longer.
And the platforms themselves evolve, which can also impact the lifespan of certain trends. What's popular on one platform might not translate to another.
True. It's a constantly changing landscape, that's for sure. The metaverse and social interaction.
Have you spent any time in the metaverse lately? I'm curious about its potential for social interaction.
I've dipped my toes in, but I'm still not convinced. It feels a bit clunky and isolating, despite the promise of connection.
That's what I've heard. I was hoping it would offer more immersive and engaging experiences than traditional social media.
It might get there eventually, but right now the technology feels limiting. Plus, the avatars can be a bit unsettling.
True. I think I'd prefer more realistic avatars, or at least the option to customize them more thoroughly.
I agree. I also worry about the potential for harassment and negative social dynamics in the metaverse. Moderation will be key.
Definitely. It needs to be a safe and inclusive space for it to truly take off.
The pressure to stay connected.
I feel this constant pressure to be online and responsive. It's exhausting.
I know the feeling. It's like if you don't reply instantly, people think you're ignoring them.
Right. And the FOMO is real. I'm afraid of missing out on something important if I disconnect.
I've started scheduling specific times to check my phone and email. It helps me disconnect a bit.
That's a smart idea. I might try that. It's hard to break the habit of constantly checking.
It is, but it's worth it for your mental health. A little digital detox can do wonders.
You're right. I need to prioritize my well-being over staying constantly connected.
The proliferation of subscription services.
I'm starting to feel overwhelmed by all the subscription services I'm signed up for. It's like everything is a subscription now.
Tell me about it. I feel like I'm constantly managing different accounts and passwords. It's exhausting.
Exactly. And the costs add up so quickly. I barely use some of them, but I keep forgetting to cancel.
I've started using a subscription management app to keep track. It's been a lifesaver. Which services do you find yourself using the most?
Probably streaming services, but even then, I only watch a few shows on each. Maybe I should rotate them monthly.
That's a good idea. I've also been considering canceling some of my cloud storage subscriptions. Do I really need all that space?
It's definitely worth evaluating. I think these companies are banking on us forgetting about them.
The rise of niche social media platforms.
Have you noticed how many niche social media platforms are popping up lately? Yeah, it's like people are seeking out communities that cater to their specific interests. I think it's a reaction to the overwhelming nature of the larger platforms. It's nice to find a smaller, more focused group. I agree. I've joined a few dedicated to specific hobbies, and it's been a great experience. What kind of hobbies? I'm thinking of looking for one related to photography. I'm part of a platform for book lovers and another for urban gardening. The discussions are so much more engaging. That sounds amazing. I'll definitely look into finding some niche communities to join.
AI-powered language translation.
I used an AI translator the other day, and it was surprisingly accurate. It's getting so much better.
I know. It's amazing. I remember when they were barely usable. Now, they're almost fluent.
Do you think it will eventually replace human translators?
Maybe for basic translations, but I think there will always be a need for human nuance and cultural understanding.
That makes sense. AI can handle the technical stuff, but humans can interpret the meaning.
Exactly. Plus, creative translations like poetry or literature will always need a human touch.
True. It's a powerful tool, but it's not a complete replacement. Smart home security concerns.
I'm thinking about getting a smart doorbell, but I'm worried about hackers accessing the camera feed. That's a valid concern. Have you looked into brands with strong encryption and two-factor authentication? I've seen some reviews, but it's hard to know what's truly secure. Are you using any smart security devices? Yeah, I have a smart lock and a few cameras. I made sure to change the default passwords and keep the software updated. That's smart. I guess it's about finding a balance between convenience and security risks. Exactly. Reading the fine print and understanding the privacy policies is crucial. Good point. I'll definitely do more research before I commit to anything.
The blurring lines between reality and virtual reality.
VR is getting so realistic. I tried a new game the other day, and it felt like I was actually there.
I know, it's wild. Do you think it's healthy to spend so much time in virtual worlds?
I worry about people losing touch with reality. It's important to have a balance.
Yeah, and what about the psychological effects? Could it lead to escapism or addiction?
It's a new frontier. We don't really know the long-term consequences yet.
True, but it's also exciting. Imagine the possibilities for education and therapy.
It's a double-edged sword. The ethics of facial recognition technology.
Facial recognition technology is becoming increasingly prevalent. It's a bit unsettling.
I agree. The potential for misuse is huge. Think about mass surveillance.
And the accuracy isn't always great, especially for people of color. That's a serious bias issue.
Absolutely. There need to be strict regulations and oversight to prevent discrimination.
But it could also be used for good, like finding missing persons.
That's true, but the risks outweigh the benefits right now, in my opinion.
It's a slippery slope.
The evolution of online dating.
Online dating has changed so much since it first started. It used to be seen as a last resort.
Now it's the norm. Everyone is swiping. I met my partner online.
That's great, but it can be exhausting. So many profiles to sift through.
True, and the pressure to present yourself perfectly is intense.
I think people are getting more authentic, though. Less filtered photos, more realness.
I hope so. It's all about finding someone who appreciates you for who you are.
Fingers crossed.
A future of electric vehicles.
I'm seriously considering buying an electric car, but I'm still hesitant about the charging infrastructure.
It's improving rapidly. More charging stations are popping up all the time.
The range anxiety is a real concern, though. What if I get stranded?
Newer models have much better range, and you can always plan your route ahead of time.
The cost is still a barrier for many people. They're more expensive up front.
But you save money on gas and maintenance in the long run. Plus, there are government incentives.
That's a good point. I need to do the math.
The impact of algorithms on news consumption. I'm worried about how algorithms are shaping what news we see. It feels like we're in echo chambers.
Definitely. They prioritize content that confirms our biases, reinforcing our existing beliefs.
It's hard to get a balanced perspective when you're only seeing one side of the story.
Exactly. We need to actively seek out diverse sources and challenge our own assumptions.
But it takes so much effort. It's easier to just scroll through the curated newsfeed.
I know, but it's important. Otherwise, we're just living in our own little bubbles.
Maybe we should all unfollow a few accounts that reinforce our opinions.
The impact of technology on sleep patterns.
I've been having trouble sleeping lately. I think it's because I'm on my phone right before bed.
The blue light from screens can disrupt your sleep cycle. It suppresses melatonin production.
I've heard that. I try to use the night mode, but it doesn't seem to help much.
You could try wearing blue light blocking glasses or avoiding screens altogether for an hour or two before bed.
That's a good idea. It's hard to disconnect, though. I feel like I'm missing out on something.
I know the feeling, but a good night's sleep is worth it. It affects everything.
You're right. I need to prioritize sleep. The obsolescence of physical media. I was just cleaning out my attic and found boxes of old CDs and DVDs. It's crazy how quickly they became obsolete.
Tell me about it. I remember buying albums on CD. Now everything is streamed.
It's convenient, but I kind of miss owning physical copies. There was something special about it.
I agree. Plus, you actually own the music. Now it feels more like a rental.
Yeah, and what happens if the streaming service goes down? All that music is inaccessible.
That's true. Maybe we should all hold on to a few key albums, just in case.
Definitely. I'm keeping my vinyl collection, at least. The rise of short-form video content. I can't believe how much time I spend watching short videos online. It's so addictive.
Me too. They're designed to be that way. Quick bursts of entertainment.
Do you think it's affecting our attention spans?
Probably. It's harder to focus on longer content when you're used to constant stimulation.
I've noticed that I get restless watching movies now. I keep reaching for my phone.
I try to limit my short-form video time, but it's tough. It's so easily accessible.
Maybe we need a digital detox.
Content creators and algorithm dependency.
It seems like content creators are completely at the mercy of platform algorithms.
Absolutely. A sudden algorithm change can destroy their reach and income overnight.
It's a really precarious position to be in. They're essentially building their businesses on rented land.
Diversifying income streams is crucial, but it's hard when the algorithm dictates who sees your content.
And the pressure to constantly create content to stay relevant is exhausting.
It's a tough balance. They need to play the algorithm game while also staying true to their brand.
Hopefully, more creators will find ways to own their audience and build independent platforms.
The decline of personal blogs.
Remember when everyone had a personal blog? Seems like ages ago.
Yeah, now it's all about quick updates on social media. Why write a long post when you can tweet?
True, but blogs offered more depth and personality, I think.
Maybe, but social media is instant and gets more views. It's all about reach.
I guess it depends on what you're after. Blogs felt more like a personal space.
And now that space is a carefully curated Instagram profile?
Pretty much. Simpler, visually driven, and more easily consumable.
The ethics of using stock photos. I'm working on a website and using stock photos. I feel a bit inauthentic.
I get that. It can feel generic, especially if the same photos are used everywhere.
Right! And sometimes the people in the photos don't even represent my target audience.
There's a debate about whether it's ethical to use stock photos to portray something you haven't personally experienced.
Exactly. I try to find photos that are relevant and diverse, but it's not always easy.
Maybe consider using original photography or illustrations if possible. It adds a personal touch.
Definitely something to think about for the future. It's all about striking a balance between budget and authenticity.
The evolution of online avatars.
It's funny how online avatars have evolved over the years, from pixelated images to realistic 3D models.
Yeah, remember the early days of forums and chat rooms? Everyone had their own unique icon.
Now, with the metaverse and VR, avatars are becoming extensions of ourselves.
It's interesting to see how people choose to represent themselves online. Some aim for realism, others for fantasy.
And the level of customization is incredible. You can create almost anything you can imagine.
It also raises questions about identity and how we present ourselves in the digital world.
Definitely. It's a fascinating reflection of our personalities and aspirations.
The impact of social media on news credibility.
I find it harder and harder to trust news I see on social media.
Me too. There's so much misinformation and biased reporting.
And it spreads so quickly. Before you know it, a false story is everywhere.
People often only read the headlines and share without verifying the source.
Exactly. It's creating a really distorted view of reality.
It's important to be critical of everything you see and check multiple sources.
Easier said than done, but definitely necessary. We need to be more responsible consumers of information.
The pressure to stay updated on tech trends.
I'm feeling overwhelmed trying to keep up with all the new tech and social media trends.
Tell me about it. It's a constant barrage of new apps, platforms, and features.
And if you don't jump on the bandwagon, you feel like you're missing out.
FOMO is real, but honestly, you don't need to be on every platform. Choose what works for you.
That's true. It's more important to focus on what you enjoy and what's useful.
Exactly. And remember that a lot of these trends are fleeting. They'll be gone in a few months.
Good point. I'll try to be more selective and less anxious about missing out.
The pros and cons of location tracking.
I'm starting to feel uneasy about how many apps track my location.
I know it's convenient for things like maps and finding friends, but it's also a privacy concern.
Exactly. I like being able to share my location with family for safety, but then I worry about the data being used in other ways.
You can usually adjust the settings and limit access to location data.
I do, but it's hard to keep track of everything. It's a constant battle between convenience and privacy.
True, and some apps practically require location access to function properly.
It's a trade-off, definitely. I just wish it was more transparent.
The re-emergence of forums.
I've noticed a resurgence in online forums lately. I thought they were dead.
Me too. It seems like people are craving deeper discussions than what social media offers.
Social media is so fleeting. Forums offer a place for more structured and long-lasting conversations.
And the niche communities are great. You can find people who share your specific interests.
It's a nice alternative to the noise and negativity of some social media platforms.
Plus, the search functionality is usually better, making it easier to find information.
True. It's a welcome return to a more thoughtful and community-focused online experience.
The shift from text to visual communication. Do you think we're losing the ability to communicate effectively with words?
I think so. Everything is becoming more visual, like using emojis or short videos.
It's definitely quicker and easier, but it lacks nuance.
Yeah, it's harder to express complex ideas or emotions with just pictures.
And people seem to have shorter attention spans now, so long, thoughtful articles are less popular.
It's a shame, because there's a real art to writing well and expressing yourself eloquently.
Agreed. Hopefully, we can find a balance between visual and written communication.
The use of AI in social media management.
Have you heard about using AI to manage social media accounts?
Yeah, I've seen some tools that automate posting and engagement.
It seems efficient, but does it lose the personal touch?
That's the big question. Can an AI truly understand and respond to your audience like a human can?
I worry about generic responses and missed opportunities to build genuine connections.
I think AI can be a helpful tool for scheduling and data analysis, but it shouldn't replace human interaction entirely.
Agreed. It's about finding the right balance between automation and authenticity.
Content creators and algorithm dependency.
It seems like content creators are completely at the mercy of platform algorithms these days.
Absolutely, one algorithm change can destroy their reach and revenue overnight.
It's a precarious position to be in. Should they diversify their platforms?
Definitely. Relying solely on one platform is risky. Building an email list or website is crucial.
But isn't it hard to build an audience on multiple platforms simultaneously?
It is, but it's a necessary investment in their long-term sustainability.
So, the key is to build a direct relationship with their audience, rather than relying on the algorithm to do it for them. The authenticity crisis on social media.
Does anyone actually believe what they see on social media anymore?
That's the million-dollar question. It's so curated and filtered, it's hard to know what's real.
Exactly. Everyone's trying to project this perfect image.
And it's exhausting. The pressure to keep up is insane.
I've started unfollowing accounts that make me feel inadequate.
That's a good strategy. Focus on accounts that promote authenticity and positivity.
It's a work in progress, but I'm trying to be more mindful of what I consume.
Me too. It's about finding a balance.
The death of the comment section? I've noticed fewer sites have comment sections these days. Are they dying out?
Seems that way. They often become cesspools of negativity and require constant moderation.
True, the toxicity can be overwhelming. But aren't they important for discussion?
Maybe, but platforms like Reddit and Twitter have largely replaced them for public discourse.
So it's more about the platform than the idea of commenting itself?
Exactly. People still want to share their opinions, just in different spaces.
Interesting. I guess the era of the traditional comment section is fading. The evolution of online avatars. Remember when avatars were just pixelated representations of ourselves?
Yeah, now they're incredibly detailed and customizable, especially in gaming and virtual worlds.
It's almost like creating a second identity. Do you think people express themselves more freely through their avatars?
Definitely. It can be a way to explore different aspects of your personality without real-world consequences.
But does it blur the lines between reality and fantasy?
Potentially. It's important to remember that your avatar isn't necessarily a true reflection of who you are.
So a fun creative outlet, but not a replacement for real-life identity.
The future of online reviews.
I rely heavily on online reviews before buying anything. But are they trustworthy anymore?
It's getting harder to tell what's genuine. There are so many fake reviews out there.
Exactly. And companies can manipulate the system to boost their ratings.
I look for verified purchase reviews and try to read a range of opinions, not just the top ones.
That's smart. Maybe video reviews are more reliable?
Potentially, but even those can be sponsored or biased. Critical thinking is key.
So we need to become professional review detectives.
The impact of technology on hobbies. I've noticed technology has changed how people pursue hobbies. What do you think?
Definitely. Think about photography. Digital cameras and editing software have revolutionized it.
True, and online tutorials and communities make learning new skills much easier.
But it can also be a distraction, spending more time researching than actually doing the hobby.
That's a good point. The endless options can be overwhelming.
It's about finding the right balance between using technology to enhance your hobby and not letting it take over.
So technology as a tool, not a crutch.
The pressure to stay connected.
I feel like I have to constantly check my phone or I'll miss something important. Is that just me?
No, it's a common feeling. The pressure to stay connected is immense.
But it's exhausting. I can't even enjoy a meal without feeling the urge to check my notifications.
I've started setting specific times to check my phone and ignoring it the rest of the time.
That sounds like a good idea. Maybe I should try a digital detox.
It can be really helpful. Even a few hours offline can make a difference.
I'm going to give it a shot. I need to reclaim my attention span.
Good luck. You got this.
The proliferation of subscription services. I'm drowning in subscription services. It's like everything is a monthly fee now.
Tell me about it. Streaming services, software, even razors. It all adds up.
It's convenient, but I'm starting to feel nickel and dime to death. Do you think this trend will continue?
Probably. Companies love the recurring revenue model. It's predictable and profitable.
I guess I need to do a subscription audit and cut back on the ones I don't really use.
Definitely. It's easy to forget about subscriptions you signed up for months ago.
Time to Marie Kondo my subscriptions.
The pros and cons of smart assistants.
I'm thinking of getting a smart assistant. Are they really that useful?
They can be. Setting timers, playing music, controlling smart home devices. It's convenient.
But I'm also worried about privacy. Are they always listening?
That's a valid concern. You have to review the privacy settings and understand how your data is used.
So it's a trade-off between convenience and privacy?
Pretty much. And sometimes they misinterpret commands, which can be frustrating.
Good point. I'll need to weigh the pros and cons carefully.
The rise of the digital nomad.
I'm seeing so many people traveling and working remotely. It's like everyone's a digital nomad now.
It's definitely becoming more popular, thanks to better internet access and remote work opportunities.
But isn't it expensive? Traveling all the time can't be cheap.
It depends. Some nomads choose cheaper locations and budget carefully.
I guess. Still, the instability would stress me out.
It's not for everyone. It requires a certain personality and skill set.
Yeah, I think I'll stick to my regular office for now.
Fair enough. It's a lifestyle choice.
App overload and subscription fatigue.
I feel like I'm drowning in apps and subscriptions these days. I barely use half of them.
Tell me about it. It's gotten ridiculous. I swear every company wants a monthly fee for something.
Exactly, and tracking them all is a nightmare. I keep getting charged for things I thought I canceled.
I started using a subscription manager app. It helps me keep track and reminds me when things are about to renew.
That's a good idea. Which one do you use?
It's called Bobby. There are others, though. Worth looking into.
Definitely. I need to take control of this before I end up completely broke from unused services.
The algorithm's influence on our interests.
Do you ever feel like your online experience is becoming an echo chamber?
Absolutely. The algorithms are so good at predicting what we want to see. We rarely encounter differing viewpoints.
It's kind of scary, actually. We're being subtly nudged in certain directions without even realizing it.
I try to consciously seek out content that challenges my beliefs, but it's hard to break free from the algorithm's grip.
Me too. I wish there was a way to have more control over what I'm exposed to.
Some platforms are starting to offer more customization options, but it's still a work in progress.
Hopefully, they'll continue to improve. We need to be aware of how these algorithms are shaping our perspectives.
The disappearing art of face-to-face communication.
I've noticed people seem less comfortable with actual conversations lately. Everything's texts and emails.
Yeah, it's a bit sad, isn't it? We're losing the ability to read nonverbal cues and connect in person.
I think it's impacting empathy. Hard to understand someone when you're just seeing words on a screen.
True. Tone can be easily misinterpreted in text, leads to unnecessary arguments.
We need to consciously make an effort to put down our phones and actually talk to people.
Agreed. Maybe schedule some phone-free zones or activities.
That's a great idea. Let's try it.
The evolution of online communities.
Remember the old days of forums and chat rooms? Online communities have changed so much.
Definitely. Now it's all about social media groups and Discord servers.
The sense of community feels different, though. More fleeting and less personal, perhaps.
I think it depends on the community. Some are incredibly supportive and engaged.
That's true. It's all about finding the right fit and actively participating.
I've made some amazing friends online through shared interests. It's a powerful thing.
It is, as long as we remember to be mindful and respectful of others online.
The future of digital ownership and NFTs.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around NFTs. Digital ownership seems so abstract.
It is a bit mind-bending. The idea of owning a unique digital asset that can be verified on a blockchain is new.
I understand the concept of scarcity, but does it really translate to value in the digital world?
That's the million-dollar question. The market is still very volatile and speculative.
I can see potential uses for artists and creators to monetize their work directly.
Exactly. It could disrupt traditional gatekeepers and empower independent creators.
But there are also environmental concerns and questions about regulation.
Definitely. It's a complex space with a lot of potential, but also a lot of risks.
The impact of social media on political discourse.
Social media has really amplified political polarization, hasn't it?
Absolutely. It's so easy to get caught up in echo chambers and only see views that confirm your own beliefs.
And the spread of misinformation is rampant. It's hard to know what's true and what's not.
It's definitely made political discussions more heated and less productive.
I try to engage in respectful dialogue with people who have different opinions, but it's often difficult.
It takes a lot of patience and a willingness to listen, but it's important to try.
Agreed. We need to find ways to bridge the divides and engage in constructive conversations.
Maybe critical thinking skills should be taught more explicitly in schools.
The impact of technology on creative expression.
Technology has completely changed the way we create, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Think about music production, digital art, even writing. The tools are so accessible now.
It's democratized creativity in a way. Anyone can create and share their work with the world.
But it also raises questions about originality and the value of traditional skills.
That's true. It's easier to copy and imitate, but also easier to experiment and find new forms of expression.
I think it's a balance. Technology is a powerful tool, but it's still up to the artist to bring their vision to life.
Agreed. It's exciting to see how technology will continue to shape the future of art.
The pressure to curate the perfect online persona. I find myself constantly comparing my life to others online. It's exhausting.
I know the feeling. Everyone's presenting this perfect, idealized version of themselves. It's rarely reality.
It creates so much pressure to keep up, to always be doing something exciting or posting something impressive.
It's a performance, really. We're all actors playing a role for our online audience.
I've been trying to be more authentic in my posts, even if it's not always glamorous.
That's a good approach. It's important to remember that social media is just a highlight reel.
And to be kinder to ourselves and others. We're all just trying to figure things out.
The rise of niche social media platforms.
Have you noticed how many new, specialized social media platforms are popping up?
Yeah, it's interesting. It seems like people are moving away from the giant general platforms.
I think people are looking for communities that share their specific interests.
Makes sense. It's easier to connect with like-minded individuals in a smaller, more focused environment.
I've joined a few focused on gardening and photography. It's been a much more positive experience.
I might have to explore some of those. The big platforms can be so overwhelming.
Definitely worth checking out. There's probably a niche community for just about anything you're interested in.
The shifting landscape of online advertising.
Online advertising feels so invasive these days. It's everywhere. Yeah, and it's getting smarter. They're tracking our every move online to target us with ads. I'm starting to use ad blockers more and more. It's the only way to maintain some semblance of privacy. But then the websites we rely on lose revenue. It's a tricky situation. True. Maybe there's a middle ground, like paying for ad-free subscriptions. That's becoming more common. It's a trade-off between convenience and privacy. I just hope the industry finds a way to be less intrusive and more respectful of our data.
Content creators and platform dependency. I feel bad for content creators who rely solely on one platform.
It's a risky game. If the platform changes its algorithm, their income can disappear overnight.
Exactly. They're at the mercy of these tech giants.
Diversifying their presence is key, but it's a lot of work.
Building an email list or a personal website seems crucial for long-term stability.
Definitely. Owning your audience is the best way to protect yourself.
It's hard to compete with the reach of platforms like YouTube or TikTok, though.
True, but it's about building a community that follows you regardless of the platform.
Digital decluttering and minimalism.
My phone is constantly buzzing with notifications. It's overwhelming. I know. I've been trying to practice digital minimalism lately. What does that involve? Deleting unnecessary apps, unsubscribing from emails, and limiting social media time. Sounds daunting, but probably worth it for my sanity. It's surprisingly freeing. You feel less distracted and more present. Maybe I'll give it a try. Starting with deleting all those games I never play. That's a good start. It's about being intentional with your technology use.
The demise of SMS messaging app dominance.
I can't remember the last time I sent a regular text message.
Me neither. Everyone uses WhatsApp or Messenger now.
It's so much cheaper, especially for international messages.
And you can send photos and videos easily.
Do you think SMS will eventually disappear completely?
Probably. It's already becoming obsolete for most people.
It's funny how quickly things change. SMS was revolutionary at one point.
Yeah, now it just feels archaic.
The ethics of online reviews.
I always check online reviews before buying anything these days. Me too. But I worry about how trustworthy they are. Yeah, you never know if they're fake or paid for. And even genuine reviews can be biased or based on one bad experience. It's hard to separate the signal from the noise. Do you think platforms should do more to verify reviews? Definitely. It would make them much more valuable. But then, how do you ensure the verification process itself isn't manipulated?
The ethics of using AI for social media management.
I heard some companies are using AI to manage their social media accounts. Really? What does that even look like? Apparently it can schedule posts, respond to comments, and even generate content. That sounds convenient, but also a bit impersonal. Exactly. Where's the human connection? And what about transparency? Should companies disclose when they're using AI? I think so. People have a right to know if they're interacting with a bot. It's a slippery slope. I hope we don't lose the authenticity of social media.
The impact of tech on social skills.
Sometimes I wonder if we're losing the ability to have real conversations.
What do you mean?
Everyone's always looking at their phones, even when they're with other people.
It's like they're more interested in what's happening online than what's happening in front of them.
Do you think it's affecting our ability to read social cues?
Potentially. It's harder to practice those skills when you're not fully engaged in the moment.
Maybe we should all try to put our phones away more often when we're socializing.
Agreed. A digital detox might do us all some good.
The longevity of current social media trends.
Remember Vine? It was huge, and then just gone.
Yeah, social media platforms are so fickle. What's hot today is old news tomorrow.
Do you think TikTok will last, or is it just a phase?
It's hard to say. They're constantly evolving to stay relevant.
It seems like the key is to keep innovating and adapting to user demands.
And to have a really strong algorithm that keeps people hooked.
True, but even the best algorithms can't prevent a platform from becoming stale.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see what the next big thing is.
The proliferation of subscription services.
I'm drowning in subscriptions: Netflix, Spotify, Hulu.
Tell me about it. It's like everything is a subscription now.
It's convenient, but the costs really add up.
I keep meaning to cancel some, but I'm afraid of missing out.
It's the fear of missing out, FOMO, that keeps them in business.
Do you think this subscription model is sustainable long term?
I don't know. People might start getting subscription fatigue.
Maybe we'll see a return to owning things again, or at least renting them less often.
The reemergence of forums.
I've noticed forums are making a comeback. Remember those? Yeah, like Reddit? I guess people are looking for more in-depth discussions. Exactly. Social media is great for quick updates, but not for nuanced conversations. Forums allow for more structured and organized discussions. And you can find really specific communities based on your interests. It's a nice alternative to the constant stream of opinions on social media. Do you think they'll ever be as popular as they once were? Probably not, but they definitely have a place in the digital landscape.
The shifting landscape of online news consumption.
I barely watch traditional TV news anymore. I get everything from social media now.
Me too. It's so much faster, but I worry about the accuracy sometimes.
That's true. You really have to double-check sources these days.
Do you think it's changing how we understand important issues?
Definitely. Sound bites and headlines don't always give the full picture.
And the algorithms seem to prioritize what's sensational, not necessarily what's important.
Exactly. It's a constant battle to stay informed without getting overwhelmed by the noise.
I've started following fact-checking accounts to help filter things out.
Generative AI in art and design.
Have you seen how generative AI is being used in art and design lately? It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I've been following it a bit. It's impressive, but also a little unsettling. Do you think it will replace artists?
I doubt it will completely replace them, but it will definitely change the landscape. It's more like a powerful tool, I think.
That's a good point. It could free up artists to focus on the more conceptual aspects of their work.
Exactly, or help them bring their visions to life more quickly. What do you think about the copyright issues?
That's the tricky part, isn't it? Who owns the rights to something created by AI based on existing art?
Precisely. I think it's going to be a legal battleground for years to come.
Definitely. It's a fascinating but complex situation.
The ethics of targeted advertising.
What are your thoughts on targeted advertising? Does it feel creepy to you sometimes?
It definitely can. It's convenient when it shows me things I'm genuinely interested in, but unsettling when it feels too personal.
Yeah, it's like they're reading my mind. Where do you draw the line between helpful and intrusive?
I think it's about transparency and control. I should be able to easily see what data is being collected about me and opt out of targeted advertising if I want to.
Exactly. And what about the potential for manipulation? Could targeted ads be used to exploit vulnerabilities or influence opinions?
That's a serious concern, especially when it comes to sensitive topics like health or finances.
So, is there a way to make targeted advertising more ethical?
I think it requires a combination of stronger regulations, greater transparency, and more user control.
The evolution of music consumption.
It's crazy how much music consumption has changed over the years, isn't it?
Absolutely. From vinyl to cassettes to CDs to digital downloads and now streaming, it's been a wild ride.
I wonder what the next iteration will be. Will we still be streaming music in 10 years?
Possibly, but maybe with more immersive or interactive elements. Think virtual concerts or personalized playlists generated by AI.
That sounds interesting. What about the economics of music? Are artists getting a fair share from streaming?
That's a complex issue. Many artists feel they're not being adequately compensated, which is why some are experimenting with alternative models like NFTs.
Yeah, I've heard about that. It seems like the industry is still trying to figure out the best way to balance artist compensation with accessibility for listeners.
Exactly. It's a constant evolution.
The future of online shopping.
Where do you think online shopping is headed in the next few years?
I think we'll see even more personalized experiences, with AI recommending products based on our preferences.
That makes sense. And maybe more integration of virtual reality and augmented reality for trying things on or visualizing furniture in our homes.
Definitely. That would be a game changer, especially for clothes and home decor.
What about delivery? Do you think drone delivery will become widespread?
Potentially, but I think there are still regulatory and logistical hurdles to overcome.
True. Maybe more focus on sustainable packaging and delivery options too.
I hope so. Consumers are becoming more environmentally conscious.
The future of personal data ownership.
Do you think individuals will ever truly own their personal data?
It's a tough one. Right now, it feels like our data is being collected and used by companies without our full control.
Exactly. We click I agree without really understanding what we're signing up for.
I think we'll see more regulations like GDPR, giving people more rights over their data. But enforcement is key.
True. And maybe new technologies that allow us to control who has access to our data and how it's used.
That would be ideal. A system where we can selectively share our data for specific purposes and revoke access at any time.
It's a long way off, but hopefully we're moving in that direction.
Agreed. Data ownership is a fundamental right.
The future of wearable technology.
What do you think is next for wearable technology?
I think we'll see more integration with healthcare, with wearables, monitoring our vital signs, and providing personalized health recommendations.
That sounds promising. But I also worry about the privacy implications of sharing all that data.
That's a valid concern. Security and data protection will be crucial as wearables become more sophisticated.
What about augmented reality glasses? Do you think they'll become mainstream?
Potentially, but they need to be more stylish and less bulky before they'll appeal to a wider audience.
True. And the battery life needs to improve significantly.
Definitely. Usability and aesthetics are key to mass adoption. The impact of tech on human connection.
Do you think technology is making us more or less connected as humans?
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? We can connect with people across the globe instantly, but sometimes it feels superficial.
Yeah, I worry about the quality of our interactions. Are we really connecting or just scrolling through endless feeds?
I think it depends on how we use it. Technology can facilitate meaningful connections, but it can also be a distraction from real-life relationships.
That's a good point. Maybe it's about being mindful of how we're spending our time online and prioritizing face-to-face interactions.
Definitely. And using technology to enhance, not replace, our existing relationships.
So intentionality is key.
Absolutely. Conscious connection over constant connection.
The impact of tech on political campaigns. How do you think technology has changed political campaigns?
Massively, campaigns now rely heavily on social media and data analytics to target voters and spread their message.
Yeah, it's all about micro-targeting and personalized ads, but is that a good thing for democracy?
It can be effective, but it also raises concerns about manipulation and the spread of misinformation.
Definitely. And the echo chamber effect, where people only see information that confirms their existing beliefs.
Right. It's harder to have a civil and informed debate when everyone is living in their own filter bubble.
So, is there a way to use technology to improve political discourse rather than just exacerbate divisions?
That's the million-dollar question. Maybe focusing on fact-checking and promoting media literacy?
The impact of tech on travel experiences. How much do you rely on technology when you travel?
Honestly, quite a bit. From booking flights and accommodation to navigating new cities, it's invaluable.
Me too. But sometimes I wonder if it takes away from the spontaneity and discovery of travel.
I see what you mean. It's easy to get caught up in checking reviews and planning every detail in advance.
Exactly. I miss the days of just wandering around and stumbling upon hidden gems.
Perhaps it's about finding a balance, using tech for the essentials, but leaving room for the unexpected.
That's a good approach. Maybe I'll try disconnecting a bit more on my next trip.
I think you'll enjoy it. Embrace the unknown.
The longevity of social media platforms.
Do you think the social media platforms we use now will still be around in, say, 10 years? That's a good question. Some seem pretty entrenched, but others might fade away, like MySpace or Vine. Yeah, I wonder what the next big thing will be. Something completely different, or just an evolution of what we have. Probably an evolution, building on existing trends. Maybe more focus on immersive experiences or personalized content. True. I guess it depends on whether they can keep up with changing user needs and preferences, and avoid major scandals or data breaches that could erode trust. Definitely. Reputation is everything in the digital age. Absolutely. And the ability to adapt to new technologies.